All right. What the heck is going on, everybody? And welcome back. It's another best of three. Shin in the top left side fighting for his spot in, of course, the big tournament coming up, representing Gen G. And he is going to be going up against a Rogue in the bottom right side of the map. Rogue has been fantastic lately, really leveling up from his immediate return to the military to looking like a player who, against many of the kind of, I guess, if you're like a rank 20 guy in the world, a rank 40 guy in the world, Rogue's going to steam right through you. Now, can he take down the very top? We don't know. But the top 5 to 10 guys are already qualified for EWC. So these qualifiers are exciting. Why are they so exciting, you may ask? Well, I don't know. Maybe because we get to actually see who else is going to join them at $1 million tournament. And then in the time between now and then, can they develop their play to the level where they can take down a Serral? Can they take down a Dark or a Hero or a Maru, a Rainer, a Clem? And almost said a Max, but unfortunately we don't get to see that one. Nice spawning pool placement out here. Does potentially block any spine crawlers getting built there. Gives you vision as well. Can kind of obstruct your opponents a little bit. Hatch gas pool for both sides. Identical openings. Rogue. Whoa. 3 workers off minerals on gas immediately? What the? Rogue went down to 13 workers on minerals for a few seconds there, guys. So it's not like his gas is that far ahead, but it does indicate aggression. If you ask me, he wants to do a very sharp Ling Bane pressure. I could be wrong on this. He might just pull off gas the moment Ling Speed, he gets 100 gas for Ling Speed. Maybe he just does like a little Ling Flood. Ling Flood into Roaches. Maybe a 26 drone Roach Ling is another option. 2 Queen Start, 2 Zerglings. Ling Speed. 100 gas now, and Ling Speed does not start up instantly. 1 second later. He pulls 1 worker off gas. See how we go. Ling Speed on the other side has started up just a few seconds later. Very little difference between the two players. In fact, Shin is only about 1.5, 2 seconds behind. Very similar openings for all intents and purposes. That's the first time I've said that correctly, guys. I used to always say for all intensive purposes. A lot of people think it's that because apparently it sounds exactly the same if you say it quickly. For all intensive purposes, for all intents and purposes. Kind of sounds the similar. Apparently, there's a very common misconception. Blew my mind there. 3rd Queen's on the way. Could be one of those things, though, there's just a few morons out me want to feel like they're not dumb. So they say it's a lot of people that make that mistake, but it's actually me and 6 other dudes. Anyways, more drones for Shin so far. That Ling Bane pressure's coming out. Baneling Nest, not much faster for Rogue. He's made it look pretty defensive so far. There is a defensive 3rd Queen for Shin, but Shin is only now building 4 Zerglings. He's leaving it very late. Shin does have another Overlord popping. He needs to build more Zerglings. Shin's building more Lings. That's very good for him, guys. Let's go to Shin's camera. Does he notice the Lings moving out? He's about to see them. Look on the minimap down here, guys. Watch that minimap right now. And let's see if his screen jumps there because the Lings are flooding out right now. And he's reacting. He's already reacting. You can see him bring everything home. And he's going to immediately morph some Banelings there. 5 Banelings. Wow, not taking any chances. I mean, he knows he's playing against Rogue. And if you know you're playing Rogue, you know Rogue is not afraid to all in. 23 drones and nothing but Ling Bane. Super safety coming out of Shin in response. His Banelings aren't quite here, but that should be okay because here we go. The Banelings are now caught up. His Queens should be focus firing the Baneling. A little bit sloppy there from Shin, to not focus fire those. And he lets his Banelings get traded on. Oh no, all his Banes and Queens are gone. Shin screwed up. Shin with a fair bit of miss micro there. Rogue excellently spreading out, attacking from multiple angles. And he goes for the 3rd hatchery, and that baits Shin into panicking, trying to defend it. And now Rogue should be able to confirm the kill. Gets that kill just barely. And Shin's got to be kicking himself. Losing all 3 Queens before they got transfuse energy. It was just bad. His Queens didn't focus fire the Banelings. I mean, that's 101 is Queens focus fire Banelings. Make sure your Banelings don't blow up unless there's a money shot. And Rogue, he microed well. He tried to attack the Banelings, the Queens, the Lings, all at the same time, as well as the hatchery, to try and overload Shin, and it worked. It overloaded his sort of APM, his mechanical ability to handle it, and now you're fighting on Queens, which is, yeah, you get a Queen, but you lose a lot of Zerglings. Queens are incredibly tanky. 1 armor, 175 hit points. A Queen can tank as much as about 9 Zerglings, guys. I just pulled that number out of my butt. I don't know, 35 times 5, it should be, right? 5, yeah, 35 times 5. It's 5 Zerglings. Plus the armor, so more like 6 or 7 when you account for the armor. Good Baneling, the first one. Second one, not so good. Full wall off here for Shin just to buy himself a little bit of time as he is not ready for this counterattack. Unfortunately, he built the Roach Warren in the back. I think if the Roach Warren was in the wall, may have been a little bit better. Queens and roaches trying to make their way down. Luckily, not many zerglings going after this hatchery, and the roaches and the queens should be able to defend. Don't lose your banelings, though. Good defense, and he's going to be able to defend his third base, but roaches already on the way right now for Rogue. 8 roaches coming in. Rogue should probably be droning, I would say. I don't think finishing this with a roach bane is the most technical way to finish it, but it is the most surprising, and that's a good, I think, way to sum up Rogue's strategy. I don't want to do the most efficient thing. I want to do the most surprising thing, because when you're not ready for it, it becomes the most efficient. And that really, I mean, you look at his results, and you know it's true. Right now, if a Zergling got in there, it would see this as obviously a massive roach timing, but there's no scouting for Shin. Shin's like assuming things right now. He's gone back to droning pretty hard and needs to go back to nothing but roaches. 4 Zerglings building, a couple roaches. Now we see the massive enemy roaches coming. You go, oh my. I've got 6 roaches, you got 15. How do I defend this? A spine crawler quickly goes down, as does a second one. 2 spines trying to build, but spines take 36 seconds to build. It's Oceanborn. There's no time to build a spine crawler here. If the banelings can get good hits for Shin, maybe they can buy him time, but I doubt Rogue is going to let that happen. Roach Bane, let's go. Rogue just leaning into his aggression here. Clean, calm, organized, attacking waves. And it feels here like Rogue is executing very well. He's not making things complicated. He hasn't done any fancy strategies that hedge his bets. He's simply leaned into aggression and consistently caught his opponents off guard today. And he's continuing that pattern here, as Shin does not have the numbers to hold on against that. The line's going to crumble. He tries to move a spine out front. Guess what? That spine ain't going to be rooting, guys. That spine ain't going to be rooting at all. That is going to be a very shallow spine crawler just sitting on the surface, not able to get any nutrients out of that creep and not able to whack away on the opponent's army. Rogue gets map 1. That Ling Bane aggression just mismicroed quite poorly there, I would say, by Shin was the big decider. Making StarCraft look easy. That's Rogue's specialty. There's 2 Zergs who, whenever everyone else is complaining, it's always like Serral, who comes through with solid play, and Rogue just comes through with like cheeky aggression to catch his opponents off guard that no one else is doing. And he's like, do you guys forget you can just do a 23 drone Ling Bane pressure? And Shin and every other Zerg's like, well, no one's done that because it stopped working like a while ago. And Rogue's like, cool. So none of you have practiced against it for like years? And they're like, yep. And Rogue's like, well, I guess I can catch you off guard. Is that Serral, by the way, guys? I didn't realize you could get a little Serral logo next to your hatchery. That's awesome. Holding a trophy, very cool. Shin in the bottom right side. For those who don't know, Shin's a very big fan of StarCraft, whilst being an incredibly high-level player. He makes like videos on his YouTube, or he used to. I don't know if he's made any recently, but like analyzing strategies and pro games, and really, he's even made like little highlight reels he's edited of other players that he looks up to. So I'm always kind of cheering for Shin, because he everything he does, whilst I'm saying Rogue's not making things too complicated and just sticking to like clean, clear aggression, catching his opponents off guard, that's normally what Shin does. Normally Shin has these really nice build orders, but it seems like Shin's trying to play reactive versus Rogue, and I really want to see Shin be the one who's going first. Hitting a good timing attack of his own, hitting a really good build order, and make Rogue react to you. Ling speed comes in for Rogue. No Ling speed for Shin until a few seconds later. Not a big deal. Rogue just wanting to have that quick Ling speed every game. He's happy to pull off minerals onto gas. Does it lead into aggression yet again? Well, this is actually an even better map for it, because look at the distance from the natural to the third base. Hard to get your queens all the way over here, and your Lings and Banes to defend this third. So it's not a bad map to go for something like that. Rogue's been very defensive with his Lings. He hasn't prioritized scouting with them, which I find very peculiar. Now, he also goes for a hatchery a lot earlier than Shin. Shin is doing the 32 third hatchery, which I do prefer. Third queen on the way. Oh, hello. He's going to go for an early creep tumor and a nice fast Baneling nest, because he's paranoid after the last game. Meanwhile, Rogue is going for a big Ling pressure to try and cancel that hatchery off just 22 drones, but he's skipping Baneling nest. Notice he's pulled 2 workers off gas, because he's probably going to go straight to roaches after this. If he does go Banelings, it's going to be quite delayed. Oh, the Lings get in. The Ling gets in. Nice scout here for Shin. The question is, can you defend a third base? Because your Baneling nest is never really ready for this sort of timing. Canceling your third is not the end of the world, but you do want to keep it up if possible. The Lings, once they're scouted, move across even pre-Ling speed. There's going to be 32 Zerglings in total. Only 18 in production, plus the ones already out for Shin. And I think Shin just gives up the third base, cancels it, and then re-expands. I almost feel like we should have droned up a little harder as Shin, though. If we knew we were going to lose this third hatchery, we're not going to try and defend it. Should Shin have actually started droning harder to get more of an advantage on 2-base, perhaps? Shin's hiding their lings, though. Oh, traps Rogue into the Baneling micro is so bad for Shin today, though. Those Banelings just took really, really bad hits, guys. And I really feel like Shin's micro is just not up to snuff today. Good drone micro in the main, only losing... he still loses 2. Oh my gosh, and he's leaving a ling there. This is uncharacteristic. The Shin's just making unforced errors. Rogue does F2 home there. Could have probably got an extra drone or 2 otherwise. But yeah, big unforced errors on the Banelings for Shin multiple times, man. All right, is the drone going to go to the third? Yeah. +1 range and Roach Horn before third base, though, and a second gas. It's a fake third base, I think. I think he's going to do a hatchery tech +1 range timing. Just with how delayed this third is, I feel like he'd be more desperate to build that third otherwise. That being said, Lings are going to get in for Rogue, and Rogue's been down on workers this whole time, guys. So the income has actually been way, 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 way better for Shin, and only now is Rogue going to overtake as he catches up, overtakes some workers, and has the third base working. So I think this is actually totally fine for Shin. Even though he lost to third base, wasted some Banelings, he trapped a lot of Zerglings in his base. I like the way he kept his Zerglings back, let Rogue in the wall, pretended like it was almost a mistake, but then letting the Banelings die was just the one big mistake. So a couple of awesome moves that should probably be highlighted a little bit more by me as a commentator, rather than just focusing on the negatives. 41 drones for each side. Rogue's massing Ling Bane right now. His Roach Horn's crazy late. Rogue... The thing is, Shin's going to think he's playing Mutas. With how much Ling Bane he sees and no Roaches, he might think this is a Mutalist play when it's not. It's a Roach. It's like a Mass Ling Bane all-in. Mass Ling counterattack. Oh, Roaches and Queens getting jumped on. Oh my god, this is a crazy all-in from Rogue, guys. I mean, it's not even an all-in. It's just like a reactive kind of Ling Bane attack because he saw the pressure coming. Ravager morphing. That Ravager will go down if it gets targeted, but Ling's coming home. Lings and Roaches together should be able to defend, but maybe not with no Banelings. The Banelings are almost home. They're coming in from the north of our screen right now. They're going to take a little bit longer. Roaches, Lings going down. That Ravager finishing morphing is so nice, though. And as long as Rogue defends, he should find himself in the lead. The problem is, if he drones now, that's where he gets in trouble, because this is, like I said, a very delayed hatchery tech all-in for Rogue. I actually thought Shin was going to do the same move before. But he's on layer tech. He just doesn't have enough gas to make Roach speed right now. He's going to make a drone or 2. I mean, I think he's in an amazing position as Shin. Rogue committed very hard early game, but he's now just taken such a long time to transition into Roaches. I almost feel like he's forced to play an economic game. Or he should have been, but he's decided to go with the Roach choice. And 4 more drones on the way for Shin. That's bad. Every time Shin drones, this is really bad, guys. The Overseer. Overseer. Okay, he sees it. He sees it. Okay, he's got to watch out. Nothing but Roaches. But he just had a whole lot of drones pop. And honestly, bad timing on that. Despite it, he's only down 3 or 4 Roaches, though. I don't know if he can die. He's got to keep his Banelings alive. A lot of players keep throwing their Banelings away against these. You have to keep the Banelings alive for the Zergling rally. Do not throw them away early. If Shin throws his Banelings away early, then the reinforce may overwhelm him. That being said, +1 range done for both sides. Lings aren't going to do anything. The Banelings do get thrown away early. Not a big fan of that move because you know there's going to be a lot of Lings coming in. This is where the Banelings are useful, coming in on the north side right now. That being said, Roaches destroy them 2 shots rather than 3 due to +1. Beautiful defensive positioning. Shin's got the numbers. It doesn't even matter. It does not even matter. Shin with a fantastic defense this time around. A very calm choice to give up his base. And hats off to him for even getting the Zerglings in to scout. Rogue was not expecting 2 Lings to make it past 2 Queens and 2 Zerglings. Great scout for Shin. All right. We're going into game 3. The series is tied up, and neither side is going for a 12 pool, in which makes sense because it is Amphion. It's kind of hard to get across on the ground on this map. Shin is going to be in the bottom left for Gen G, and Rogue in the top left. Sorry, does Rogue have a team, guys? I keep saying this, introductions at the start, and then not actually checking. Google's on phone. This is professional commentary right here, guys. Rogue, SC2, Korean Pro Gamer. Team Falcons. Team Falcons picked up Rogue, guys. Okay. Team Falcons, Rogue. And GG is Gen G, right, guys? Right? I find out it's like not Gen G either. It's someone else. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not a good professional commentator. It's okay. We're missing no time in the early game. Game Gladiators. I'm sorry, guys. It's Game Gladiators. Game Gladiators is GG. The Game Gladiators up against Falcon Esports. I really wish they had logos next to them. They easily could set up logos or put it in the name. At least Shin puts it in the name, the GG there. But StarCraft players are notorious for You know, just being, I'm like, you know, you could just, you could just you join a clan that has the logo there and stuff. You could put it up, but yeah, it is what it is. If the teams don't hound them about it, it is what it is. What's down there, gang? Oh man, that looks kind of dodgy. You know, when you're looking at this like beautifully rendered map and you look down there and you're like, I don't know what I'm looking at. That water looks weird, man. That looks poorly rendered. Extra drone comes down just a second earlier for Rogue. Rogue is not mining gas faster this time, so it looks like he's not going to be as aggressive. He's been playing old school ZVZ. I feel like Rogue's ZVZ here, the thing that worries me about what he's shown so far today, his ZVT and his ZVZ, doesn't look like it's modern. It doesn't look like it's evolved since 5 years ago. It kind of looks like the same builds he was using in 2018, 2019. I'm not, it's not bad. It's still solid StarCraft. But it worries me when a player comes back from the military and if like months down the track, they're still just using the same old builds they were before they went to military service. I kind of go, ooh, number one, have you been playing the game in the in-between? Because you can absolutely play while you're in the military. You're just not able to compete for money. So some players clearly stay in much better form than others. Others clearly don't practice at all. The other thing is, are you passionate about the game? Are you, finding the new ways to victory? And don't get me wrong, it might be something where Rogue's just like, well, people have forgotten about the old ways and they work really well, so I'm just going to do those really, in the meantime, when players figure them out, we'll see. But I think you've got to be careful with that sort of approach. In 2024, there is such a disparity between the top 5-6 players in the world and the next kind of group, rank 8 to rank 20 or whatever it is. So what works against rank 8 to rank 20 will not very likely work on those top guys, especially if you've already shown it on the lower ranked guys. Now, good move for Shin. Unfortunately, Rogue barely makes the slowest getaway of all time. Does lose some vision at least, so he's got to be a little worried about like Ling sneaking out now. Please speak softly. I'm trying to sleep. Oh my gosh. Sleep well, swarm of dogs. Sleep well. The weird comments we get in Twitch chat, I love it. They're like, can you stop being so loud? I'm like, you have a volume control. It's over there. They're like, I don't know how to use it. You please be quiet, content creator. 32 drones against 33. Oh, nice scout for Shin. Dude, Rogue's not really scouting that much. Shin is. And I said at the start, Shin's playing reactive and Rogue's just picking builds and doing them. That's kind of how Rogue plays StarCraft, to be fair. I think Rogue has always been one of the best planning preparation players to just pick his builds and win games. I think what's made Cyril so next level is he's developed that skill, but he's still able to play the reactive macro game and swap back and forth between them. And often it feels like Cyril goes into a map wanting to do one of these Rogue timings, scout something that makes him go, I don't think this is the best position for it. And he changes his mind and does something else. That's the one thing where I'd like to see Rogue evolve his game. Now, Rogue is just doing a Roach Bane once again, off 38 drones this time. He did lose an Overlord up front. Tons of Roaches coming out. It's going to be, once again, a +1 range Roachling Bane. He's transferring fake workers to his third base to make it look like he's droning. But luckily for Shin is going for a 45 drone version of the same build. Shin does make a lair behind it, so it's got a bit of a better transition, but he is absolutely ready for this. He either reads the correct play. Oh, his Ling just got in. He actually got a Ling in. He just saw no drones on the natural. This is terrible for Rogue. He let the Zergling scout in 2 games in a row, and now Shin's reactive play is looking really good. He's going to Ling counterattack the third. Oh, that's so good. The Overlord will give some warning, but he's got so many Roaches at home. This isn't easy. He even builds a single drone in the midst of this. This is how confident Shin is right now. He feels so good about his position, and Rogue's doubling down on the all-in. He transfers even more workers to his third base to try and convince Shin that he's actually macroing up. Now, this might trick Shin. This might trick Shin. Shin's going to try to get in there. He sees a lot of Roaches. He should know this is a trick. He should know Rogue is doubling down on the all-in. Rogue is down to now 33 drones. And look at this, guys. Shin, he lost a few drones on his third from, I think, Ling Bane, maybe? A couple Banelings maybe took them out. But Shin's just going to go for his own attack. And he's doing it off a 10-worker advantage. Now, don't get me wrong. Defender's advantage for Rogue is good, but Shin doesn't need to commit. When he sees the numbers, he should just pull back. If he overcommits, there is a chance he throws the game right now. He's in a massive advantage. If he pulls home, there is almost no way to lose. He is so far ahead. When he sees the Roaches on the left and the right, he should pull back, but look at the way Rogue's hiding it. He wants him to overcommit. Rogue's waiting for him to overcommit. Now Rogue pulls in, and he goes for the trap. Oh my god. I mean, there's still so many units. It's very similar numbers on both sides. I don't even know if the trap works that well for Rogue to truly win the game. Nice Ravager focusing from Rogue. He's trying to get rid of the Ravagers. He gets rid of one. The other two Ravagers being microed back very nicely by Shin, though. He's killing all those Roaches down there. I think this is still a decent enough fight for Shin. He's got to go back to Roach production, though. Whoever has more Roaches is going to do well because Roaches are the better units. This was a big overcommitment for Shin, guys. Shin got a little bit too stubborn, a bit too committed. He did not realize Rogue tricked him by pretending to drone the third. Remember, there are no drones in the natural. He sees it. He sees it. Shin sees no workers in the natural, and I think it finally dawns on him. Oh, wait, I'm miles ahead. He has no income at all. I've got drones on my third. He has nothing on his natural. But you've thrown so much army away, you might just die to this attack. I don't know if the Spine Crawler or the Baneling's going to get her in time. That being said, Roach count is almost even. As long as the Banelings hold off the Ling advantage, it's all about the Baneling usage. His Baneling usage has been very poor this series. Shin needs to just keep the Banelings alive. Do not throw the Banelings away. Dodges the Bile very nicely. He's still got 3 Banelings. He just has to keep the Banes alive. Don't run the Banelings in. Oh, he gets one decent hit. The Lings are getting decent angles there. The Ravager's coming forward. The Spine Crawler's going to finish. No, it's going to be Biled. I think a cancel on the Spine, maybe. No, it's got enough hit points. He says at least it'll soak some Biles. He even dodges 2 Biles there. It's got a lot of hit points. Does the Spine Crawler. I love the Spine Crawler dodges. Shin is actually back to even army supply. He's up 10 workers right now. His supply lead is pure workers. He focuses down a Ravager. He does lose a few Roaches for that. Keep back, Shin. Shin, don't chase, Shin. Shin just built 5 more drones. No, Shin. Rogue has been completely all in this whole time. He's still rallying Zerglings. Shin is trying to counterattack right now. Guys, Shin thinks he's in a completely different game. The adrenaline of playing against Rogue, one of the greatest players of all time, is getting to Shin. He is droning and going for Ling counterattacks when he's up 15 workers. And look at this. The Biles come in. Oh, they hit 2 or 3 of his Roaches pretty well. Dude, the army of Shin is so much better than this Ling rally. This Ling rally is garbage. These are +1 Roaches. And yeah, it's finding some damage. The Lings are going to go for a bit of a counterattack. 16 worker advantage is crazy. 4 more drones coming in, and now he starts +1 carapace. Rogue is so all in, it is actually ridiculous. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. This does not feel like a world championship Rogue. This feels like a guy who is picking attacks and doing them, but it doesn't feel particularly inspired. And that might sound overly critical to you guys, but like, I really feel like it's like he's done 3 all-ins, and now he's going from an all-in into another all-in. He's not showing depth as a player, whereas Shin is. Shin's scouting, reacting, mixing in his own attacks, but he's really playing reactive Zerg vs. Zerg. 2024 Zerg vs. Zerg. Rogue's just playing old school, well-defined time attacks, and he's doing it well. You got to realize, if you go back to the 5 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever you want to call Rogue's best time, or one of his GSL winning times, Shin was nobody compared to Rogue. In terms of skill level, like you think of Rogue as the much better player. The fact that Shin is outplaying him right now in a reactive sort of macro situation, the ZVZ is pretty big. As that carapace kicks in, it's going to be big. He needs Banelings at home. If he doesn't have Banelings, he might die. But he sees Massling. Rogue shows his hand. You need to make Zerglings right now. Guys, Shin's not making Zerglings. He just saw 50 Zerglings and he's not making Zerglings. He needs Banelings. Uh-oh. If he doesn't make Banelings, will he be able to hold on? Because his Roaches are going to go back once that carapace finishes. They're going to take 3 shots, no longer 2 to kill the Zerglings. And there's going to be a lot of, well, actually only 5 Ravagers with it. Overseer comes in, and look at this, guys. He sees no gas, no one working on the natural, just a few drones, which are transferred from the main, by the way. The main's half mined out. Shin is using the Diva voice pack. You just heard that correctly, guys. I was like, what? What am I hearing? That's right. Shin is using the Diva voice pack. Him and Estrella, the 2 programmers that like it. I still think there's too many Roaches to break. Even though the Roaches don't have the crazy advantage anymore, and Lings are very supply efficient, you're up in army supply, defender's advantage. You can lose 20 drones and still be okay. I don't see Shin losing this. Oh, he's clumping a bit. He's got to be very careful. So only 5 Ravagers. Okay, nice Biles trying to come down. The Roaches trying to dodge the Biles. The Lings, oh my god, there's so many Roaches and Spines though. The Lings actually get killed by their own Bile. There's so many Roaches, even drones being pulled off the line. This is a desperate all-in from Rogue, and there is just way too much Roach Spine to defend it. Shin, fantastic reactive macro game, and Rogue doubling down on the all-in, but it all came down to a lack of scouting. Let me show when that first Ling got in, because I didn't see it getting in the base. I never thought that it would ever get inside the base. There it is, that's it. I think that's it, or is this too early? No, it must be later. It must be a later Zergling. That was like the first Lings get in here at 5 minutes. Oh, no, that was it. That was it. Yeah. Let's watch this Zergling, guys. So the lings are going in, and then he peels the ling off, right? So he tries to scout. Where does this ling come from? Look at that. If his roaches were on A move, they would have stopped it. And the queen's just not standing in the wall. Super lazy. Big mistake from Rogue. Letting that in, seeing no workers on the natural. He fake transferred to his third, even took an extra gas to make this look like a macro build. And at that point, the jig's up. Shin just knows that he is miles ahead in this game. GG, well played. Alright. It's a best of 5 qualifying match, and we've already got some cheeky play on the way for Shin for the Gaming Gladiators in the top right. He's got Serral floating over his hatchery. If anything's going to give you good luck, guys, it's like a Roman-looking Serral with a bloody wreath in his hair, holding a trophy over your hatchery. Shin knows what brings him good luck. He's up against Stats in the bottom left side. The Shield of Ire. Now, Shin has recently basically beaten Stats 5 times in a row, and then Stats somehow survived with 1 unit and then turned it around and won the game with better upgrades. And he sees the hatchery. Immediately finds the hatchery, starts attacking it. I don't think it's worth pulling probes to attack that at all. He's going to go for a gas there. Now, this is a hatchery, and he's going to go 3 hatch because it gets scouted. This is a reaction, guys. I think he was going to go spawning pool, but he's decided to go 14 hatchery at home and macro out of this. So he goes for the hatchery. He should build next an overlord and then a drone. So even though he's losing a lot of lava production right now, actually a drone and then an overlord might be the way to do it. A little inefficient on the lava, but he's so low on minerals, I don't know if lava even matters that much. We'll see. Pig, who else of the cast is going to be live at EWC? Can't say that. Don't know, man. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure they'll do an announcement of the talent in the near future. I'm not 100% confirmed by any means either, so we'll see how things go. Hopefully do get to see Magnath, though, once we get there. Saw Magnath in the chat. Probes coming in, man. This is 4 probes. I don't know about probe pulling this far out. That being said, it's not a crazy probe pull. And the Zealot will finish that hatchery before. I think the idea is just to not let a queen get out, right? And the cancel goes down. Stats will pull back. So a single gas commitment there. And you know, Shin's way behind on workers, right? 16. But the Nexus is so far behind the hatchery. Normally, the hatchery is about 30 seconds faster than the Nexus. In this case, you're about 55 seconds faster. It's a big advantage. That being said, you are down 4 to 5 workers. But you got to deal with the Zealot pressure. Soon there'll be an Adept coming across the map as well. Drone does scout, unable to steal a gas or anything like that. I wouldn't mind the drone going in and trying to bounce the probes around, but there's so many probes it wouldn't really have much of an impact either way. Pig, can you show us the game time? I'm not sure why they wanted me to use this overlay. I don't know why, guys. They wanted me to use this overlay. It does cover the game timer. So everyone else using it as well. I don't really like that, but it is what it is. Link speed's on the way. 3 more drones. There's a drone heading out towards the 3rd hatchery as well. Oh, here we go. Looking for a hatchery. Doesn't quite have the money, though. Building a 3rd queen first instead. That's because there is a 1st Zealot arriving. And the Zealot and the Adept, they're going to block that 3rd hatchery from getting taken. Drone's going to hide there. Shade goes in towards the main base. Unable to land, though. Behind it, Twilight Council and a 2nd gateway. So that's going to be putting on that Adept pressure to try and keep up some semblance of pressure on the Zerg. And he sees no gold minerals getting mined out. He doesn't know about the 3rd hatchery being there. I'd like to see that Adept turn back. Try to go down that left side and see that 3rd hatchery. But at least he knows it is quite late as Glaive Adept comes in and a 3rd gateway. Wait, is that a 3rd gateway? No, it's just 2-gate robo. Oh, hello. Ah, he's pulled off gas there, though, when he does go for now the 3rd and 4th gateway. Cancels building probes for a second, and then immediately resumes those probes. Nicely done. 3rd hatchery is there. Drones building. Spore Crawler in the main base. 2 queens in the natural. That's 3 queens in total. 4th one's on the way as well. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I actually really like the way, guys, that... I like the way Shin transitioned out of this opening. I think the moment it got scouted, he knew it wasn't going to work, and he just completely changed his build to a macro build. That being said, I think Shin might be going all in. He's got a very quick Roach War and 2nd gas. It's probably just a reaction here, but he could try to turn it into like a Ravagerling counterattack if he can get like a good surround on the 1st Adepts. Now, Stats is trying to mine these minerals open, but the probe keeps mining different minerals, so he's not actually able to take that 3rd on that left side. I think at some point here, he's going to select the probe, go to build the 3rd, and he's going to be like, what? How is that not open yet? What are you doing? Silly probe, taking a long time to break out. 3 roaches are on the way. Make it 5 roaches. 5 roaches, 2 gases, only 36 drones. Shin's economy is very low. He cannot be affording to lose workers against this. He has to shut this down very hard. Adept's coming forward. Let's go, 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 go. Gonna shade in. Ooh, okay. Roach Ravager trying to gather up. Adept shading forwards. Good cancel. If he committed there, that would have been very bad. Massling on the way. Remember what I said? Shin might go for the Ravagerling all-in counterattack, but it all kind of relies on him getting a good surround because Stats is building Immortals right now. He's going charge. He's not probing, which is actually good for him. He's got to just keep these Adepts alive, get them home, and build shield batteries. This is a crazy army size for Shin. Stats doesn't know about it just yet. Stats is kind of always on the greedier end of play. And I really feel like he has to worry because you know Shin is just going super all in. One Adept goes down, gets himself a Creep Chamber. Massling, he sees it. He sees the Massling. He's got a shade home. These Adepts can fight there. This is a super good fight for the Adepts. The Lings pull back because they know the Adepts will shade away. Where are the batteries? Guys, no batteries yet? Okay, now he's got a battery there. He needs a battery on the third base as well. He has not started the pylon on that third. Those rocks will go down very, very quickly. Immortals and Sentries still on the way. Second Immortals coming. A single Stalker here as well. Cybercore going to go down. That could be an issue. Immortal does go forward there along with the Stalkers. We don't want to get them surrounded. Rocks starting to fall. We see some Biles there on the bottom of our camera. Immortal still hasn't lost its barrier by the looks of it. There we go. No, it has not. Oh, you don't want to get surrounded though. Oh no, the Immortal goes down. The units got stuck in the wall off. Very unlucky for Stats. You could see the units kind of blocked each other there. And they just weren't moving out of the choke point. Meant the Biles landed on the core and the Immortal. Super value deal for Shin. That being said, Shin needs more damage, man. Oh, okay. Ling and Ravager trying to break down these rocks as best they can. Baneling Nest is on the way behind this, as well as more Zerglings. Is he just going to follow this up with Banelings? Dark Shrine's on the way right now, trying to make those mineral-heavy Archons. Stats is not willing to defend his third, and that means he'll lose it. Oh, wait, no, he's going for it. He's going for it. The Zealots come out. Guardian Shield not going to help out that much. This is mostly melee units. Oh, big Biles on the Sentries and an Adept. Ravager's coming forward. The mass Ling surround is monstrous, and Shin wiping the floor with Stats in game 1. Off of a botched proxy hatch, the transition was so fluid, and Shin just messes the game up and catches Stats off guard. GG, well played. All right, into the next game. It's going to be Oceanborn. Not to make excuses, but I am tired. I did not expect it to be casting this today. I already had a full day of work, of cooking some dinner, doing a bunch of stuff, and I did find out this morning, oh, I thought these qualifiers were next week. They're today, and I'm like, oh gosh. So I've just been frantically replanning my schedule for the next 4 days over the course of these qualifiers, seeing when I can miss sleep to try and get these. And this first day, I'm not really missing sleep. I'm just tired. It's kind of that point of day where I'm winding down and getting into bed normally, and yet I'm casting some StarCraft. And that's my excuse for why I missed the Prism dying. Apparently, it happened on the minimap when he was microing the 6 Adepts around. The Prism did get killed. Not sure if it was by Corrosive Bile or by Queens. And shout out to Eon Blue for catching that one. Here we go, Gateway. And it's a hatchery blocky block. It's a 17 hatch block, guys. Now, why 17? It's because with this build, you don't need the hatchery any earlier, and you want to have 16 workers on minerals as early as possible. Now, right now, you can see he's prepared to go for a gas in a pool. He keeps changing where the drones rally to because he wants to build the spawning pool somewhere where the probe can't block it. And on the other side, 2-gate response. Oh, hello. Okay, cool. So Stats is not going to pull probes for this. He's going to do 2-gate. He'll build at least 1 Zealot, maybe 2, and then he'll chrono 2 Adepts across the map, which, because Shin's pool and gas is so late, it's going to be a little difficult for him to defend. This drone already forcing the probe away. You don't really want to build a pylon to block here. Does already have a pylon at home. Now, no second gas for Stats. If you go second gas, it massively delays the Nexus, even if Shin cancels. As it is, because he hasn't pulled probes, I do believe when they don't pull probes, it's usually worth it to cancel and build an Evo chamber. But we'll see if he agrees with me on that. There's a Zealot there. Might be worth trying to squeeze a Queen out, drop a Creep Chamber down. Maybe. For the massive delay, Pylon goes down, forces Shin to take the third base. That's a nice move. Stats gets the refund of 3/4 of the cost of that Pylon. Do we get the double Adept chrono? Got 2 Zealots there, 2 Adepts coming out now as well. Didn't save chronos for it. Oh, we do have second gas, but he's forgot his third Pylon. which means his probes are blocked. Uh-oh. You build 2 zealots, you have to build that third pylon a little earlier. You can see he's supply blocked now, but Stargate comes down. So this is the advantage of doing it this way, guys. If you go 2 gate, 2 zealot, 2 adept, Zerg has to deal with crazy counter pressure, but you're giving the Zerg a massive advantage on the hatchery compared to Nexus. Overlord pops out. He's just going to rally that down to the side. Could build 6 Zerglings here if he wants to. He just has to build it before they die to the Adepts or before the creep dissipates. So he does it at the last possible second, just trying to keep these units at home. You can see Adepts are coming forwards. Cancels them. You get a full refund if you cancel them. Figured having them trapped there, probably not going to find any value. And instead, Shin's got Ling speed. He's building lots of Queens and Zerglings at home. Only on 19 drones and 2 hatcheries. And of course, Stats just waiting for that creep to disappear. Zealot gets not to the wall in time. The Lings do get in. And they can get that probe if he doesn't micro it. Probe goes down for 1 Zergling. Nice trade for Shin. He sees the Oracle on the way. Very good scout. Those Adepts really aren't doing much. And Ling speed's almost done. Now, if all you have to do here is force a lot of Zerglings and Ling speed and then run away. You do not want to commit. Do not commit. No, no, no. Okay, good cancel. You know Shin's going to have Ling speed. You have to go home now. He's staying too long. Guys, he's staying too long. If he loses these units, he's screwed. Shin does not see exactly where they are. He's going to go for it, though. Now he sees as the shade finishes. I think it's enough Lings. It's enough Lings for a pretty good wraparound. Nice micro-based stats to pull to the right side, though. The Lings, they have a decent surround. Will it actually be enough? Adepts shading away. The Zealot and the Adepts actually trade pretty well. 16 Lings for 2 Adepts. That was really bad for Shin, guys. I thought it was a good enough surround, but if he killed all the units for 16 Lings, I think it's good. As it is, it does not come out in his favor at all. Now, there is a Spore Crawler in the main and this third base. There's so few drones. Then again, the Nexus still isn't finished for Stats. So, Oracle comes in, only gets 1 drone and a Spore Trick. Still only on 1 Nexus, but with 2 Oracles on the front and 2 Adepts, that's the problem, is when does Zerg ever get to go back to droning here? I think Shin's going to be able to survive. The question is he behind or is he ahead? After surviving. Killing a creep tomb is well worth it. Keep draining that queen energy. Spore Crawler goes up in the third base. 27 workers against 27. It's neck and neck in this game. Stats. Did he pull off gas at all? No. Still building oracles. Sometimes going for oracles and then pulling just 1 worker off each gas, it is viable if you're not continuing oracle production, just to speed up your third base, because you're just so behind on workers in this sort of weird start scenario. Not a lot of people think to do that, but you can see, guys, only 9 workers on this expansion. You know, it's an awkward one. Oh my. 5 Adepts and a Zealot walking in, getting themselves another creep tumor. Another snipe on that creep tumor as well. I love this like revelation and methodical creep clearing that's so common now. Ooh, Zergling's going to go in. Oracle's thinking about fighting this. They do turn on the lasers, force the Lings to disengage, and that allows the Protoss to evacuate. Twilight and Forge go down before third base. I really feel like getting that third up has to be the most important thing right now for Stats. On the other hand, for Shin, it's trying desperately to drone and get some value out of his 3 hatcheries, because he's stuck on Mass Ling right now, and his third base, only 3 workers on it. 6 more workers are building. There's only 4 queens out with the 5th one building. Triple Oracle is very dangerous. It's amazing Shin hasn't taken more damage, honestly, because it's such a fearsome counter pressure force Stats has on the front door. Stalkers do take out an Overlord over there. Third Nexus is on the way. Lings try to sneak out. Single one does get across the map. Still an Overlord out front next to the pillar. Evo Chambers on the way right now for Shin. He's going to be going for those upgrades. Shades should get cancelled. So Evo Chamber, no Roach Horn yet. No extra safety precaution. Shin's like, yeah, you're not going to try and hit me with anything. I've just got to not fall behind. Because he knows Stats is a master of the long game. He's not so worried about the short game. They're losing 1 or 2 drones there is not a big deal. And the worker count's actually ahead for Shin. It feels like Stats playing maybe a little paranoid after this start. He's also not probing right now. Stats macro not looking that confident. He's making mass gateway, but like the economy management's not perfect. Feels like Shin is in a very good position right now, and Stats, man, he's got to recover. He's down 15 workers. There's a 4th hatchery on the way. Baneling Nest. I think we'll see a Hydra Den now that the Lair is... Oh, Lair hasn't started. Never mind. Lair only now starting. Very mineral focused in the recovery here for Shin. Units lost up still very good for the Protoss player, and he's going to get the hatchery cancel. Okay, that's good. This is really nice for Stats. Being on only 53 workers, he could not let that 4th hatchery get up, or he was going to fall behind. All right, Adept Zealot Stalker trying to come forwards. I always feel like this sort of opening from Shin is a real skill test for the Protoss, where like if you play perfectly, you can get ahead against hatchery block, but it's very hard to pull it off consistently. And that's why Dark loves to do it. Just make the game messy, mess your opponent up a little bit, and watch them flail about while you just enjoy the chaos. Still only 4 gases, which makes sense. No Roach Horn though. Really is like looking like he's going to go straight Hydras off this. Very weak to Colossus. But if Stats say goes, yeah, I don't know, Stalker Zealot Mass, Immortal Archon, Hydrobane's a pretty good play. Oh, this is, dude, he's bleeding so many Zerglings. This is getting very messy for Shin. It feels like his reactions are a little slow. So, oh, Ling's on the right side, gonna run in. Goes for a little bit of a wraparound, but nice blink micro. Shin will have to pull back. Essentially a couple Zerglings just to force Stats to look over there and heal a little bit with the battery. Shin's going to try to blink back. Stasis traps on the backside. Two of them actually turn on their lasers. As long as the Stalkers don't go down, I don't think you mind losing Adepts. They are an early game unit. One Oracle's going to fall. Oh my gosh, I can't believe the Oracle survived. All right, nice Stalker pressure here. 15 Hydras are on the way. Groove Spines, that's +1 range. We'll be finishing in about 40 seconds. Muscular Augments is queued up to come in behind that. I would love the Lings to just counterattack. Running in the natural in the third might be the play. He's going to come in from behind instead. I don't know if that's it. Stalker's happy to pick off a few of these Zerglings. No 4th base for Stats. That is very good for the Zerg. There's a 4th base for Protoss. You're only on 66 workers. You start to feel panicked. Right now, Hydra Queen coming forward. A couple of Queens go down. Good blinkbacks on the Stalkers. How many Stalkers have died this game? Only 1. Units lost tab in the top left. 3,500 for 1,200. I don't know, man. There's a cumbersomeness to the way Shin's moving his army right now. And like Stats, he's going a second Robo Bay. If he gets a few Colossus out and Shin hasn't droned up significantly, then I like this position for him. Even though I thought he was behind a minute ago, and I still don't think he's in an amazing spot. The fact that Shin's got no creep control, no control over the front of his 4th, it just makes this game a little bit awkward for him. Hydra Queen coming forward. There's not many Zerglings for this. All the Lings are on the other side, along with some Banelings. Banelings are going to roll it to the mineral line. If he goes for Pylon, that'll be big. Pylon goes down. All of those probes should be falling, at least most of them. Hydra's trying to defend, but they don't want to chase off creep up that ramp. Lings are going to click the Nexus rather than going for the probes. Not a bad choice. The Lings should be running away. They do. They force the Oracles to turn on their laser beams. They run away. Hydra Ling over here. How many Hydras have we lost? We've lost 4 Hydras. Still only 3 Stalkers going down in this game, but Stats is on 2 base mining. Stats is in the doo-doo right now, and he's building 2 gateways, which is the last thing he should be building right now. He needs Colossus desperately. Stats has been warping in Stalkers, spending all of his money rebuilding his Nexus. He does not have any Colossus started, and that is the most important part of the build. He starts them Disruptors, but he's supply blocked, and he only now starts a Pylon. A few too many unforced errors for Stats. I mean, you could say they're forced errors. I mean, there's Lings running in, there's Hydras on the front, but definitely there are a few too many errors that are stacking up for the Protoss player. The Shield of Aya, a shield only works if you've got the strength to hold that shield up above your shoulders, and a supply blocked boy most certainly does not have that. Entrance to this base looks like a kind of scary area to move through. Oracles turn on their lasers. A couple more Lings do go down. Stalkers have been trading well, man. You got to give it to Stats. His micro's been clean. You just got to worry about getting surrounded. It's running away time. Good pullbacks for him. Blinking back, picking off a lot of Zerglings. Hasn't lost any of these Stalkers in this particular fight, but how long is that going to last with Lings on the left, Hydras on the right? Stalkers now starting to fall. Hydras on the left as well. Oh, gee. Oh, gee. Oh, gee, Rick. Oh, that's a lot of Hydras and Zerglings. Oh no, man. Zealot's trying to warp in. Prism gets focused down. Oracle goes down on the left. These Stalkers are trapped between a Zergling and a Hydralisk place. That's not a good place. There's a lot of Talons. There's a lot of biting. And that's a lot of dead Stalkers. Massive victories for Shin, who's now on 81 drones against a 58 probe, 3 base Protoss, who's on a handful of Stalkers, a couple of Disruptors, and a pack of Zealots. This is not a good setup for the Protoss. Shin is looking like he's all over Stats today. Hydra's breaking the rocks on the right. You know, I think Stats might throw out a cannon rush in the next game or something. I know that sounds like a crazy thing to say, but maybe. Force fields do go out. I'll talk about that more, why he'll want to do that. 3 Hydras. Good stasis traps holding back the front row of Banelings. It's all about the balls right now. Stats going bowling. Can he land some hits? Not really. Being said, he's not really losing many units either. He does have a battery in the back starting to top up the shields on those units. Very good defense considering. Interesting. We've seen this lately in the Korean scene, guys. I saw this earlier today as well. A lot of players are starting to play Disruptors rather than Colossus. Oh, sorry, in the European scene, it was actually Max versus Reyna. I was casting an older game of theirs from about 2-3 months ago off the ladder, and he also went Disruptors rather than Colossus against Lingbane Hydra. I always thought Colossus was the hard counter. That's what it feels like in my games. But oh no! The Mass Zealot charges into the Lingbane Hydra, and the Banelings get massive, massive hits. Disruptors poking forward. It's Mass Stalker Sentry Disruptor. This is an all-in. He just warped in Sentries with a lot of his gas on the front line. Stats is basically saying Force Fields and Disruptors, I gotta do it now or forever hold my peace. Right now, I am at the wedding of a past girlfriend, and that girlfriend is a world championship. I want to be there. It doesn't feel right if Stats is not at a world championship, but it's hard right now. Shin is all over him. Good Disruptor shots going out. The Force Fields have been good, but then the Banelings do get in and clear a bunch of them. That Disruptor very vulnerable on the front. Another Disruptor shot does go out. I'm only getting like single Hydras with most of these shots, and that's just not enough to hang on. Shin just has too much stuff, and he's done a great job of overwhelming. +2 melee, +1 range, only +2 there for Stats, and even Banelings coming in from behind. Who knows where the heck they came from. Oh, Hydra's getting isolated. That's a little sloppy. Where's the rest of his army, guys? Oh my. Oh my. He's making lurker upgrades right now. Shin, where's your army? Where's the reinforce? Shin just messed up. He just lost like 8 Hydras. He has no Hydras left. He's losing Vipers. He's only got a few Hydras and a pack of Zerglings. This is way closer than it should be right now. I mean, hats off to Stats for good micro, but I feel like Shin, his supply is so good, and yet his army, for a moment there, maybe just a gap in his production, didn't quite have the reinforce that he should have. 2 Prisms have gone down in this game, guys. Ooh. Stalkers. Disruptor comes forward. It manages to hit air. Whoa, there's just too much Zerg. Doesn't save the Disruptor in time. So much DPS coming out of Shin. And Shin is absolutely smashing. Lurker range is about to finish. Depth of Talon's coming in. At this point, guys, if you're 15 minutes in, your opponent's got a 5th base up, you're still doing a Stalker all-in off 3 base, you are probably dead. Probably dead, good sir. Lurkers are just going to be the nail in the coffin. I mean, Ling Hydra can do this on their own. Adrenal Glands never got made, but it is on the way now. Chat's pointing out when he used that Prism up here to try and save the Stalkers, it should have been a distraction. He should have let the Prism die on purpose, blinked away, and recalled much earlier. That's actually a very good point. Could have saved more of the Stalkers if he did that. Dude, Blinding Cloud, Lurker, Lings around on pure Stalker. That is the stuff Zerg dreams are made of. GG, well played. Alright guys, going into the next game, Shin is going for a 15-15 by the looks of it. Just wants to make sure his hatchery doesn't get blocked. Interesting mix-up from Shin. Not something you see too much in the Korean scene these days. His opponent Stats just going for a safe gate scout. Very generic for Stats. Not too surprising though. It is Stats after all. He likes to play his nice conservative styles, doesn't he? The game in Gladiators being represented, of course, by Shin. Not sure if I mentioned that this series. Whereas Stats is a man who, of course... I mean, over the days, who did Stats play for back in the Pro League days? Was it SKT? SKT Stats? I'm trying to remember. Right now he's playing for Twisted Minds, of course. Twisted Minds, him and Classic. Don't they have... I think they have... Is it just those two and a Russian player they have on their lineup? I feel like they have like a really weird lineup in World Team League. Where I'm like, man, they need like a good Terran and a good Zerg on there. Alright, guys. Here we go. Amphion. Stats is down 0-2. He can't afford any more big mistakes. No big mistakes. It feels like he's just been a bit slow to start today. And when you play his style against Shin style, when you play perfectly, you win by a narrow margin. If you play pretty darn well, like really well, things go okay for you, you win by a knife's edge. And if things go wrong at all, with the way you play against the way Shin plays, simple, solid, surprising attacks for Shin. Starts playing knife's edge, greedy macro. It's just, you're more vulnerable if you're messing up. If you're not playing at 100%, you will get wrecked. And that is simply a stylistic choice. Shin's style inherently, you could say, puts more of it into Fate's hands, right? He's not saying, I'm going to play perfectly and always win. But he's just saying, well, I might not play perfectly. I might not always win. But it's easier to get consistent results. It's easier to be a very high-level player with this. And I can punch up and beat people way better than me with this style. Will I ever be a consistent 3-time world champion sort of level player? Unlikely, not with that style. Very unlikely. You can still be a very high-performing, very entertaining player who has a very big fan base. First Adept, initiate out to the left. Third hatchery does go down on that side. It's pretty cute taking the third hatchery on the left. Now, Swarmhost and Swarmhost Nidus are pretty popular on this map. Swarmhost Nidus popping up over there. Hitting from up over here. There's so many angles you can land from. So you see this Adept shading through. So he's going to have 2 Adepts over there. Hanging out off creep. There's only 1 creep tumor there. Spore Crawler goes down in the main base as that Oracle's about to pop out. Perfectly timed Spore Crawler. Should be ready when that arrives. 31 drones for Shin. Does hit a little supply block on 44, but you can see there's 2 Overlords popping, so not a big deal. 6 drones start as soon as those Overlords pop out. Second gateway is there for Stats. Looks like Stats wants to take that third base on the right side, but he's going to do a bit of harassment first. Adept's going for the divey dive. They manage to take out 2 drones at the same time. Oracle goes in. And, oh, bad. Losing that Oracle is not good, but the Adept's got heaps done. So I don't think it was great Oracle control, but the Adept's got a good 9 out of 10 there. 6 drones going down is a good start, but losing an Oracle and 2 Adepts is going to give Shin plenty of room to recover, because the next minute or two is going to be much easier than it would be if those units were still alive. It was KT stats, of course. Thank you, everybody, for reminding me of that. KT roster, Stats, Zest, and TY was the killer roster that they had. Thanks, pulling to the right side. Going to see the Oracle go down in towards that main base. It's only 2 Oracles on the map since one of them did die. Oh, okay. Adept does defend the wall. Those 2 come forward. Forge and Twilight come down. 3rd and 4th gas are mining. It's 5 minutes. You've got a fully saturated natural. Gases included. Should be rallying to the 3rd base now. This Oracle's still dancing around. He's going to take out a creep tumor. But just one. Doesn't want to lose any of those hit points for free. Oh, he came in from behind. That was a bait. Sorry, I was looking at my minimap. I was like, where's the Oracle? I didn't realize it was hiding right down here, guys. Easier to miss that when it's above the water. He goes back in on the north. That was a bit too cheeky. This is something we've seen. Maxpax is the master of always controlling Oracles on 2 different control groups. He pokes in from one side, and when the queens move out, he comes in from the other side. I've played against Hero and Maxpax a few times recently. Who've done this to me, and I gotta say, man, it feels so gross. When you're the Zerg, because you always think it's a good thing to move your queens forward to intercept the Oracles, but if the Protoss does it just right, they're actually pulling your queens out of position so the other Oracles can do damage, and sometimes you're better off just leaving the queens, hugging the Spore Crawler in the mineral line, and then just pulling the drones away when the Oracle comes in. Sometimes they use your own defense against you. Blink and +1 on the way. It's going to be a defensive Psystorm Blink build. It's about the most turtley play you could possibly do as Stats. Not a bad way to play. If you expand like this, there's no reason to even Nidus, says he on blue. You can literally just run your Swarmos up here and throw them into the main base. You're not wrong. However, I think the Nidus still adds a lot, because then you can pop up on the right side of the map. And you can also do it here as well into the natural. Though, to be fair, you could just break their rocks and run over here. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. It's just the ability to also threaten that right side is nice. Spire. Oh, I like this move from Shin, guys. That's a 6-minute 20 Spire. That's a decently timed Spire. It's not super fast. He's doing it off a big economy. The question is, does he drone this 4th base on the left? It's wild that he's still expanding towards the opponent while playing Mutalisks. Because if I'm looking at this as Protoss, I'm thinking, oh gosh, man, I got to worry about Swarm Hosts. Mutalisks are going to be a surprise. Overseer's coming. It's double Overseer Scout, guys. He'll see the Templar Archives on the way. Ooh, I feel like you want to save energy on these and come back and just contaminate the Forge. Come back in a minute and a half when you've got energy and just slow down those upgrades, because, yeah, double Forge goes down. Doesn't even wait for the Overseer to get out of vision before he drops it. Infestation Pit's on the way for Shin right now. Shin's 4th base going for double gas. 8 gases. Massive boost if you're playing Mutalisks. But the push path from here to the Protoss base, it's right there. I really do think this is something that only works because Stats is such a defensive player. Here we go. Oh, Roach is kind of dying, man. Bit of an awkward attack right now. Does take out one Stalker, gets us surrounded. Batteries aren't ready. Batteries aren't ready. Where are the Oracles? The Oracle finally gets back here, turns on its laser beam. I gotta say, good scrambling micro there for our Protoss player. Only a few Stalkers, Zealots, and Adepts go down. You don't want to lose too many Stalkers. They are the valuable units. 2 High Templar are gathering energy for Storm right now. He's going to need more than that. I mean, to be fair, Storm's not the most important thing in the world. And the Oracle just saw the gases. He's got an Observer here. First Mutalisks are about to... But we need to watch this from Stats Vision. He knows. He's building Phoenix. He's building Cannon Battery. The 8 gases is what's tipped him off, guys. He's like, 8 gases. You're playing Mutalisk. So he knows what's happening. He absolutely knows what's happening. He's going to move his army to the left towards his main. And he's going to try and leave his High Templar on the right, plus Cannon Battery. So High Templar, Cannon Battery to defend his 4th. Stalkers in the main base. He does get his building contaminated. Wait. What was getting contaminated? Templar? Is it just a gateway? Oh, should have contaminated the upgrades for sure. Anyway, guys, 18 Mutalisks are coming. He's only going to have 1 cannon and 1 battery in the main. He's trying to build a second Stargate, but they're in very vulnerable positions. This area needs to be defended. Mutalisks are going to the right side. I think he saw them going to the right side. The Stalkers are in position. He could blink on it. Doesn't want to be too far out of position, though. Oh, Oracle tags it, but the Oracle does go down. He's not going to blink forward. He's afraid of getting jumped on. He's like, look, if I blink on that and Lings surround me along with the Mutas and I lose my Stalkers, it's game over. Whereas if I buy time for Phoenix to come out, Phoenix hard counter Mutalisks. Little does he realize, it's not Mass Muta. It looks like Mass Muta, but it's not. He's already transitioning into Hydras, Lurker Den, and Infestation Pit for the Hive behind it. The only thing Shin's missing is a second Evo Chamber. If Shin gets a second Evo Chamber, I like his play a lot better. You can see right now, if he doesn't have any melee or carapace upgrades, and that gives you a lot of flexibility. Don't get me wrong, Lurkers are the biggest priority, but since he's on 88 workers, I do want to see Shin go for that. He's on 10 gas behind this as well. Oh, watch out for the Mutas! The Mutas, he has to storm his own probes. He's got to storm again! Beautiful play there by Shin. He just walks through 2 Mutalisks there for multiple High Templar and a couple probes. Really worth it. Now you got to remake those from scratch. And this all buys a lot of time because Hive's there, Lurker Den's finished, 10 gas, as I said, is up, which means you can make a crazy amount of gas units. And this feels really... Like, Stats is on 4 base, but he's just not building the right units. So economically, he's like defended his economy, and this feels good against Mutas, but his alarm bells have to be tingling. Like, what are we doing with our Robo right now? He's not building Immortals. He's just making Cannon Battery. He keeps thinking there's an all-in coming. Stats has no idea what's going on in this game, and that's a massive problem. Luckily, he stopped building Phoenix, but if he doesn't build a second and the third Robo, I think he might just die to the Lurkers. Now, let's make the argument for what's good about Stats' position. These Phoenix might seem useless outside of dealing with Mutas, but they're very good for picking up Lurkers. When you pick up a Lurker, even if you drop it straight away, it's unburrowed, and the Zerg player needs to tell it to burrow again. So it's almost like forcing a tank to unsiege. Imagine if every time you picked up a tank, it unsieged the tank. You could come in with like 1 Phoenix, pick up 3 tanks, like one at a time, pick it up, drop it, and just interrupt all their tank fire for a fight. Second Robo's on the way now. It's so late. Stats is always so late on his Robos. This is something I've been critical of in the past as well. Oh, he loses 2 more High Templar. Oh, 3. The Mutas get sacrificed for 3 more High Templar, and the Lings go after the 5th base. Beautiful move here by Shin. Shin did not want those Mutalisks anymore. They're garbage units this late in the game. He should click on the Nexus, and look at that. That's a slow warp in now. That went from a fast warp in to a slow warp in once the Nexus got killed. 3 Zealot kills. Not a good Zealot warp in there for Stats. He's still not got any Immortals building. This is really bad. It feels like he doesn't realize this is a transition into a Lurker game. He could do it without Lurkers, but what's he got? Only 2 High Templar for Storm. No Disruptors. He's only now building 2 Immortals, and it feels to me like Stats is just not prepared for the next stage of the game. He sees the Hydras now, and losing the Phoenix. They could have picked up the Lurkers. I don't know, man. There's already 13 Lurkers with 2 more making. I feel like this first Lurker push is so hard to stop. It's the right move to move forward and force the Lurkers to siege because you want to keep them back. But look at this. Even here, 2 Mutalisks slowly picking off these Zealots. Very decent move there by Shin. Just trying to slowly wear those bad boys down. I like that he focus fired one of the Zealots. It's cute. +1 air weapons is on the way. I mean, to be fair, Shin hasn't managed to push him just yet. There's only 4 High Templar, though. We got to pull back. Look at how much damage those Lurkers do to Stalkers. Mama's here, and there are only 2 Overseers. Keep in mind, if he loses those Overseers, that's a problem. Adaptive Talons is almost done. +3 ranges on the way. Remember, no Carapace, no melee upgrades. Ooh, I would have liked to see Stats kill that Lurker. Stats! Oh my god, that looked like a misclick there. That did look like a misclick. No High Templar in the top right. 5th base will have to be denied. You got to give this up here as Stats. Phoenix go forward, try to pick up a Lurker, but there is no way in heck you are holding on to that base. He's trying to defend it right now. I don't think this is the right call. I don't think he has... Actually, there's not many Lurkers here. All the lurkers aren't here yet. This is a weird position to be in for Shin. All of his lurkers are still behind this. They're down here. Okay, he's going to try and move in from a different angle. He's got good damage. Stats army and his upgrades are improving. Remember, Stats has 3-2. He's got plasma shields plus 3 armor on the way. Carrier weapons plus 1. Now plus 2 immediately starts. 2 more carriers building. He's already got a mothership out. The lurkers are looking for an angle. He sends 1 lurker into harass from the right side. That's a distraction. That is a distraction. Battery overcharge does go down. I don't think it's going to last very long. Here we go. Big engagement. Time Warp comes in. Stalkers, Storm, Immortals, Battery, not to mention the cloaking field. The Overseers are there for the detection, but it feels like this is maybe only part of the army because those lurkers just disappeared. Was that the whole army? That was 14 lurkers. Damn. Stats setting up a beautiful engage. The Time Warp also reduces attack speed by 50%, not just movement speed, remember? 32 Hydras being rebuilt. Units lost tab. Very good. And you're stuck on a Hydra lurker. Shin's all in. This is the problem. Every time Shin is beating Stats and ahead in a game, the problem is Shin doesn't have a late game in this matchup. He has to win in the mid stages. He just doesn't even try to go to late game, right? And to be fair, against Stats, that's a good plan. You don't really want to. But I think at this point now, Stats is just past the scariest part of the game, and I think he's winning this game. The comeback could begin here. 4 Immortals, 4 High Templar. He's still got a few Phoenix in the mix. The Zealot run by will go down the right side. It is a 6-base Zerg, guys, with a 7th base trying to get up in the bottom right side. Whereas the 5th base is only now up for Stats. He's going to need that gas as this game continues. I would like to see a +2 shields upgrade. +3 armor's almost done. Oh, Phoenix going down. All right, rocks on the left side are falling. Zealot run by, denied the 7th in the bottom right side. He's going to be doing some damage here. Queens will struggle to defend that. Hydralink comes in. Oh, man, losing his 5th base again. Stats is not happy with that. If he wants to defend it, he has to recall, but a big army on the front. Shin's going to try and base trade this. Spine Crawlers slowly picking off some of those Zealots. Lots of damage being done on both sides of the map. Oh, man, the Hydras are moving forward. Finally starting to fight here. The Archons do start to go down, and the Lurkers do massive damage. Hydras on the right side have to pull back as the Carriers and Immortals do come back on that side with a bit of a recall. It looks like a lot of damage has gone down on both sides. Units lost tab. Okay, it does look like all the Phoenix have now fallen. Trying to set up a flank here. Is this the right call? Immortal Carrier Mothership coming in. Time Warp is huge. Time Warp is massive on the Hydras. A lot of the Lurkers get hit by that. But there's just no Zealots coming in from the left side. If there was a big flank of Zealots as well, I might believe. But without the Zealots, there's not much actually killing the Lurkers. The Carriers are starting to fall. That being said, the Hydras walked through the Time Warp and got wrecked, which means eventually the Carriers, the Mothership, will destroy this, as will the Zealots. Zealots on the right side cleaning up the Hydras there as well. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Stalkers continue to push. They killed the 5th. They're taking out the 3rd base. The Zealots down here are still not answered. 10 kills, 11 kills, 7 kills, and 2 kills. There's like 35 kills between those 4 Zealots. That is wild. And that is such a turnaround, man. It felt like Shin had all the momentum with the Mutalisk keeping him pinned back. But if you let Stats keep a 4th base, he is always dangerous. And that's something I, as a commentator, am wishing I'd mentioned more earlier. There really was pressure on those first Lurkers to get something done. And I think wasting time going for the 5th base was a massive mistake, as well as taking so long to push to begin with. If Shin had opened up the minerals on the left or done a drop and pushed Lurkers into these bases, at the same time, pushed onto either the 4th or the 3rd in the natural, earlier, that would have been good, but he ended up pushing into the big open area, getting flanked from up there and the left ramp and time warped at the same time, but he also gave Stats more time to get the army ready. So I think Shin missed his timing in hindsight now as I look back at it, and that's something I wish I kind of mentioned a little bit more to set you guys up to not be as surprised by how sharply this game turned around. But remember, you let a Protoss get close to maxing out, and even maxing out on 4 base. As a Zerg, if you aren't playing like Broodlord, Viper, Infestor, Lurker, like ultimate late game, you're going to be worried. All right, Stalker Zealot over there. Lurker's trying to move around. As Lambo says, Lurkers are AFK and turtle units. Like they're units you just want to use when you're not watching. Kind of. Can't really micro them too much. Big Carrier Storm Archon with a lot of Zealots, though. The Zealots, if they can go and get past the Lurker army into the economy, they will rip everything to shreds. 2 Observers here for detection. No Oracles. Also, no Observer speed. Oh, he's going to catch him! Stats, what are we doing? Dude, it felt like Stats could have just fought there, but I guess he's like, hey, come to me. Come to Papa Protoss. Cloaking Field, Time Warp goes down. Splitting Zealots into that base to the left. He's going to try and force the lurkers onto him. Corruptors are coming in. Archon's going to try and fight it. It's just too much. Shin's way too far behind. He's like, yeah, I'm dead. I just can't defend that. I got a few Corruptors and a few Lurkers. No way of defending my main base. GG. All right, he's been on the cusp of defeating his opponent a few times recently, and Stats has kind of brought comebacks from games where he looked dead. That last game there was kind of a classic Shin versus Stats, and I think Twitch chat pointed it out. Wrigglinium in chat said, yeah, +2 carriers against 0 armor Hydras in a time warp? Yeah, I mean, because it was only 2 carriers. So I was like, 2 carriers in a mothership, 30 Hydras are going to destroy this, but apparently not. Apparently not. They killed 1 carrier for like 25 Hydras or something ridiculous. And that's why, I mean, I was mentioning the Evo chambers earlier, saying like, look, if you don't, like, yes, the lurkers are important, but if you only play single Evo, just range upgrades, you really need to, like, that first lurker timing needs to do big damage, because you don't have great Zergling upgrades for Ling Run buys. You currently transition into like Ultra Corruptor very well. And that's what I was hinting at earlier. I didn't expect it to go quite that way. It is hard to attack with Lurkers, but with how low the Immortal count was, with how low the number of Storms was, Stats didn't have an answer to Lurkers. If the Lurkers got in a good position, it just felt like he always kept good track of where Shin's army was coming from and made it hard. Because Shin didn't want to push straight through his army. You want to kind of catch, you know, it's like same thing with siege tanks. Like if there's stalkers right up front, you want to go down the other path, right? You want to kind of get across the map without them seeing you coming. And he wasn't able to do that. And not being able to surprise your opponent with a siege unit means that siege unit will struggle to get across the map because they're going to just harass it every bit of the way, keep forcing you to siege it up, unsiege it, and just make that pathing across the map very difficult. I really want Stats to force the game 5. This is a qualification match for the closed qualifier, by the way. Just because you win this qualifier doesn't mean you're straight into the Esports World Cup. This, along with the Asian qualifiers, the European qualifiers, and the American qualifiers over the next few days, will each send players. And the top 3 from this qualifier will all go to the closed qualifier as long as the people from those other qualifiers. And then they basically play another tournament. And then they pick the top, I want to say 8 players, 6 players, I can't remember the exact number, to go and join the players who are already qualified from, you know, winning championships and getting top 4 or top 2 at a bunch of the other events this year. Adepts are going forwards. Chat's saying that apparently I can show the game timer. Wardy's showing his game timer. Okay, I assumed it was like an anti-gambling protection or something. I can just remove that, guys. I mean, I could just remove that logo. I don't know why they're trying to cover up the game timer there, but I assumed it was like they didn't want people gambling or something. Anyways, Depth's coming in. 0 damage. This is not good. So get okay, second drone makes up for it at least. If you didn't get any drones, that's terrible. Getting 2 drones, I think, makes this way better for Stats. I can remove that part of the overlay on the next one. Wardy's literally gone into Photoshop during the cast probably to fix that. Oh, that's a lot of queens. Good positioning. Oracles ain't going to find much. There's a spore there. Good pull away on the drones as well. Maybe an overpull, but better keep them all alive than lose 1 or 2 on the edge. Forge and Twilight go down. 3rd and 4th gas should be mining here. He normally transitions them at about 455. Stats is usually a bit of a robot. He's a bit like Clockwork. He's busy microing his Oracle. Comes in, gets a drone. Good defense, though, by Shin. Shin's early game's been tight. 5 minutes, and he should transfer his rally point over to his 3rd base as well. You can see he does that now. Should be transferring a few workers from the minerals as well. Odd of him to be up on 19 on a base this early. 3 oracles on the map. There's a lot of lings out, guys. 19 lings. There's do not shade. Yeah, he sees the lings coming and cancels the shade. Couple stalkers warping in there. Warping in the open where they could be surrounded. 4 adepts, 2 stalkers. He doesn't want any of that. Oracles will cancel the 4th base. Man, getting that early 4th up is such an important part of EVP, and the Protoss are so good at denying it with the Oracles. Does get it, gets the drone. Another drone will come down immediately. Oh, the Oracle's looking for more. That's kind of crazy. Oh, very crazy move. A very crazy Protoss player. Queen defense is tight. Anyways, Ling's hanging out over there. Lair's almost finished. 9 more drones, 3 more roaches coming in, +1 range as well. Will we get roach speed? So layers of qualifiers are crazy, says chat. You get $1 million on the line. That's the way we do it. Wriggle says it's only the final 2 from today. There is a 3rd place match. which I assume is to get a third spot. I could be wrong on that. I don't know why you'd have a third place match for a qualifier. Unless the third one gets through as well. Only the final 2 from the closed qualifier out of the 8 that make it to the closed qualifier will get... Whoa, 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 really? Ooh. All right, Oracle going around the back. Infestation pits there. Overseer seeing what's going on. Storm as well. Sorry, I'll stop reading chat, guys, and just focus on the games. Blink Storm, very turtley play, very stat style. Up against Roach Ravager into Fast Lurker by the looks of it. I doubt he plays Swarm Host off this. Swarm Host would be a wild play. You could do it, but it would be very odd right now. Thing is, why is he making so much Roach Ravager? The Infestation Pit's a fake. He's going all in. He's going to make a Dropalord, right? Where's the Dropalord? Or is he just dropping creep out of Overlords? He's just doing a creep highway. Oh, he's just doing an old school highway, guys. He's going to lay the purple carpet. It's a Roach Ravager all in. And there's not many Stalkers. Oh my god, he's making batteries and cannons, which will help, but he needs to defend the third. The third is actually the weak point. He has no damage. I think Stats might just die to this. He thought it was a tech play. The Infestation Pit tricked him. He's now going to find out, oh gosh, this is a giant attack. When the Queens get there, they're going to answer the Oracles. It doesn't matter how much energy you have. Storm is not going to help if the Roach Ravagers spread out really well. First Storm does land kind of nicely, but good adjusting. And look at this, the Biles coming in, the spread of units from Shin. Yes, the Storms are helping, but how much? Look, Transfusers coming in. They can transfuse all these Ravagers. The Biles in the Mineral Line. Dude, this is a massive move for Shin. It's a massive moment. I thought it was an awkward macro game, but he convinced Stats that it was a macro game. Stats was going double Forge, double Robo, 4th base, building cannons and batteries on his 4th base. Oh no, he focused on getting way too much tech, upgrades, buildings, infrastructure. And a minute from now, Stats would have been nigh unbreakable. But if you hit him right there at the 8-minute mark or just before, that's when Protoss is weak. And that's the sort of timing that's very hard to pull off against Hero, because Hero's in your face all the time. But look at this investment, guys. These 2 cannons and 2 batteries could have helped a lot at the base. More importantly, look at the unit count. It's 7 minutes 30. We've only got 6 Stalkers, 3 Adepts. So few units. You might have Storm, 4 Storms banked up, but they're not worth anything. Yeah, we've got 8 gateways, but we don't even have enough money for a full warp, and he absolutely needed to cancel +1 armor, cancel some of the cannons and batteries there, build some more over here, and really just get more units warped in earlier. But it is what it is. Shin's on point today, and Shin does take that spot into the closed qualifier. GG, well played. All right, guys. We've got a big qualification match. Creator down here, up against Stats in the top left. Winner of this gets through to the closed qualifier for the EWC, the Esports World Championship. Creator does build a Nexus there. Adept's coming down this left side. There is an Adept sneaking across for Creator, but it is a 2-gate for Stats in the left. Goes for the Nexus only a few seconds later, and a 1-gate Nexus for Creator. But of course, Creator's got the Stargate, so he's already got that Oracle coming. He's going to wall off with his shield battery. The reason you build a shield battery instead of a pylon is it does take 29 seconds to build, which means more time to cancel it at the last second and not wall yourself into your base. Adept actually commits here. I wasn't expecting that, but Stats not microing his Stalkers, which means he will lose some more. Oh, good probe micro. And, oh, great probe micro. Only loses 1 probe there. Very nicely done. His Adepts are going to try to get in the Oracle. I think it's well worth using the Oracle to kill an Adept and damage the other one here. Oh, is that really worth it? Oh, I like the way he shades and recalls. Gets one out. Almost could have saved both of them there if he did. If the Oracle was a little slow on that. Zealot breaks down the shield battery. Oracle's on the way. A few more gateways coming in. Twilight Council as well. Nexus and a battery there. Coming up on the natural. Oracle hasn't done any offensive damage. Stats is down only 1 probe though. As his Nexus finishes up just a second later, a couple seconds later than Creators. There's Adept going down as well. Oracle just says zap, zap, zap. Adept goes down. Now you've got 2 Oracles. That's going to keep Stats pinned in his base. And even though you've got an earlier blink, this is, I would say, a much better opening for Creator than Stats. Because you've killed an extra Adept. You've got 2 Oracles, which are going to always be a threat, as long as you keep them alive. If you throw these Oracles away, it's fine. Stats needs to defend his worker lines perfectly. He needs 3 Stalkers, at least defending each mineral line for a long time. And he's forced to probably play defensive into a quick third, because it's very hard to attack if the Oracle's keeping you pinned at home. He loses 3 probes there. Does get an Oracle, though. I think that's okay for Stats. He's got to go for that quick third, like I talked about. In this scenario, it's better to go third Nexus before gas, if you know you're not getting all in. And you know what? He sees 2 gateways, sees nothing but probes. He's going to see that probe just went to the 3rd. Oh, no, there is no probe at the 3rd. Never mind. It's just a stalker moving around in the minimap that I saw. 3rd gate does go down for Creator, setting up for potential future aggression. He sends a probe to the 3rd, which Stat sees. Stat starts his own 3rd base. And Creator drops a Forge. Interesting. So Creator is macroing. He's macroing out of this. Will we be getting some battle aces later today? It depends where you are in the world and what today means. It's 10 p.m. So for my day, no. But you know, I'll be awake from now, like 10 hours from now, and that day, sure, maybe. I think there's an NA qualifier I'll probably cast, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, Forge and Robo's coming in. 3rd gas comes down as well. Can One-Armed Joe not become GM? One-Armed Joe could become GM. It's harder though. And I don't have enough experience with one-armed players. Obviously, you want to use like a foot pedal to use extra inputs. If you have a foot pedal, like with a few buttons on it, a few different inputs, then you can use that to maximize, or like even a DDR pad you could program potentially. But it's going to be hard to be quite as organized. And you're probably going to need to like avoid certain situations in game and like force the game into other situations, which is much easier to do when you're a well-rounded player. Like you guys know, like I'm reasonably well-rounded after all my years of StarCraft. Like I can force the game into a situation where I can win with mouse only, playing with one hand. I can win at GM many games playing mouse only. I've played with my mouse on my foot and beat, you know, low-level players, right? It's not easy, but I know what I need to do to simplify my game plan to do it. So, yeah. I was making a statement about, you know, I think 80% of people between 15 and 40 can basically get GM with 10,000 hours. But I think it's unrealistic for most people to put that much focus and effort into improving at StarCraft. And you got to add to that, you know, the 20%, most of them have physical or mental disabilities of some kind. And I mean that it doesn't, not in terms of it's not maybe legally recognized as a disability, but it just, you know, they're just slower or not quite as smart or fast as the other people. But I think most people, because I don't think you need to be exceptionally smart with StarCraft if you've got like people who know more about the game teaching you and kind of showing you what to do and teaching you builds and stuff. Like you don't have to invent build orders to be good at a game like StarCraft. You don't have to be a savant who learns the game instantaneously overnight like Scarlet. You know, you can just copy what she does and learn some set things to do in certain situations, and just, you know, there's a certain element of pattern recognition, but there's also a certain element of just picking good builds for matchups and doing them really well. Stalkers, sentries, and zealots coming forward. Rocks being broken. This is basically like a last chance qualifier. Absolutely, guys. It's going to be the next few days will be non-stop these qualifiers. This is the very first one leading into that close qualifier. Stasis traps for Creator look really good. I actually like Creator's position a lot right now. I think Creator's in a pretty good spot defensively. So many zealots, but he's got a good zealot count as well. He's only down 5 zealots. Archons are game winners. Basically, Archons are going to get so much value here because Archons, especially with prisms to save them from ever dying, and battery healing, just wreck Zealots. Zealots are going to clump up a lot. This is the point where you've both got a very scary Zealot army, and then the Archons start to hard counter each other's Zealot armies, and you're like, oh, okay, we got to build other units. 4 probes building at a time for Stats. He's going to macro up here. He is not willing to just commit to a headbutt. That is not Stats style. If Stats is really confident he can kill you, he'll go for it, but very rarely does he misjudge and go for an attack that will not work. Are you allowed to use foot buttons in a tournament? What are the rules for keyboards and mice? I actually have no idea. In a tournament. I imagine you should be able to use a foot pedal. I don't think it gives a competitive advantage. I really don't. I think you've already got 10 fingers, you know, 2 hands, 10 fingers. I don't think having a foot pedal really is a massive advantage. I think they should absolutely allow it. If someone wants to put in the effort to innovating, go for it. But I don't know if there's any rules on that. Here we go, guys. Zealots, Stalker, Immortal. Archon coming forward. Wait, seriously? You've beaten low-level players only using your mouse and your foot? It was very hard. They had to be very low-level. Like, we're talking like bronzies and silvers and stuff. I think I might have beat a gold league with it. It was tough. I can't remember if I was using my keyboard in tandem with it, because I think if you use the keyboard with it, it's not too bad. But if you're just using mouse only and foot on your mouse, it becomes insanely hard. Like beating a friggin' medium AI becomes difficult. Stats has just got to get out, man. He's staying too long here. This is really bad for Stats, I think. Creator's got a better arc. He's got great arc on surface area. Big Zealot Warp in. He blinks forward and focuses the Prism. Stats is trying to set up a giant surround, but he's already lost the core of his army. Terrible fight for Stats. Great fight for Creator. Creator Stats needs to get out. He needs to get out, man. Just leave. Just get out of here. Save what you can and try to rebuild your Archons and defend at home. That was a beautiful engage for Creator. Way too fancy for Stats trying to set up a special surround there. Very nice. Very nice. GG, well played. Creator takes game 1. Stats just didn't have the army. He was down 1/3 of the army supply. He was dead to the counterattack. All right, guys. Creator up a game on Stats. Stats looked really shaky in his series, but then again, Creator got 3-0'd by Bunny. So even though Stats made a bunch of mistakes and kind of got wrecked by Shin, Creator got mauled by Bunny. That being said, I think Bunny looked good. To be fair, Shin looked good as well. He smashed Rogue. D-Tow, thanks for the sub, D-Tow. Appreciate the lovely love. Setting off the hype train. Thank you, friends. I have no mouth. Protoss. Looks like I missed some upset. How are we doing, Triple Helix? Rogue's out, but I mean, that's just Rogue being Rogue. And Shin beat Stats, which is just, to be fair, I don't think that's crazy. I think Shin pretty much beat him in GSL, and then Stats somehow made miracle holds every time they played recently. So Shin actually finishing the games off is almost like what should have happened last time they played. All right, so this is 2-gate against 2-gate. With 2-gate against 2-gate, you'll notice Stalkers are good at winning frontal fights, but the Adepts are more flexible, faster, and if they get into your base, they will wreck your workers. Now the question is, what comes out behind? Oh, he's going more Adepts. Whereas, okay, so Stats is playing a very generic Sentry expand. He's going to go 2 Stalkers into 2 Sentries. Creator does block the expansion. Stalkers are trying to chase that probe down. Adepts do go out the left side. They're trying to dodge this probe. Pylon does get cancelled. Stats puts the Nexus down. Very nice. Now, for those who don't know, there is death vision in this game. If you want to keep your opponent guessing, you do not drop that Nexus straight away. And I think he did wait just long enough from that being cancelled to get that down without it seeing what happened. Actually, maybe death vision might not apply to cancelled buildings. Ooh. Do 2 Sentries actually do okay against 2 Adepts? Oh, he splits the Adepts. Oh, wow, he cancels one, lets the other in. That was very cute from Creator to flexibly adjust. He should be able to just do some damage and shade out. Great micro on the probes for Stats, but I just feel like it's kind of sloppy that he's letting the Adepts in the first place. I mean, he's only lost 1 probe, which is incredible. Where are his Stalkers, guys? His Stalkers came too far back. They should have been intercepting that. This is a bad start for Stats because now the 4 Adepts could do damage, but hold that thought. Go up to the high ground. And if he shaded there, the Sentries could have trapped him with force fields. Good cancel. Robo's coming down now for Creator behind this. The 4 Adepts aren't going to go too hard. I thought he was going to keep building Adepts, but just stopping at 4. Oh, no, never mind. He's building 6 and 8. He's going 8. He's warping in 2 more Adepts there. Okay, you need a battery on the logo. You need to make Stalkers right now. Just Stalkers, Stalkers, Stalkers. Maybe get a battery up as well, potentially. Stalkers going far forward. You got to be careful. Get out of there. He could try to get a few hits off, but he doesn't want to get shaded on top of. 4 Stalkers, 3 Sentries. Sentries are no longer light units as of the last patch, so they don't take bonus damage from Adepts anymore, which is a big change to this dynamic. Gateway. He's going to go Pylon. Good choice. Didn't have the money for a Gateway. Adepts are going to come on in. Pylon, Force Field up top would be nice. Just trap him from retreating. 6 probes going down. Ooh, we don't want to lose any more. Good Force Fields. 1 more. Oh, he doesn't have any left. He's going to take down most of these Adepts, but 8 probes will go down. For, was that 6 Adepts for 8 probes? 1 probe died before that as well. I don't know, man. It feels like when you do this trade, that's like, it feels good economically for Creator, but then can you defend the counterattack? His Immortal is out. Oh no, he built a Prism first. His Immortal's only now getting chronoed. I think it'll come out just in time to defend him. But dude, it's a scary moment in the game. Creator has almost no damage here. No real damage dealing units until that Immortal's out. He might die. He might die to this counterattack. Force fields are good, but are they that good? Force fields in a battery? I think Stats needs to go. Stats, you gotta go. There's no damage here. You can just man mode it. Stats is playing way too careful. This is a problem with being a less aggressive player like Stats. Yeah, there we go. Just go for it, man. Click the battery down, click the units down, and you can do so much damage. Good force fields, though. Creator pulling probes. Mineral Walks for a surround. Great wraparound with the probes. His Immortal comes down as well. Great force field. He's trapping the units. Oh, my God. Beautiful micro. Beautiful micro. The couple of seconds that he wasted dilly-dallying were a huge problem for Stats. Because if he took that fight and the Immortal wasn't there for 5 seconds, You can imagine maybe he fights free or kills a lot more probes, but now Stats is down in the dumps because he not only lost the probe fight, he also lost the army fight, right? He's down 1,000 resources and the units lost. Yeah, he's up 3 probes in the economy. So that's gonna be hard to come back though, especially now with even more damage coming in to Adepts getting dropped in the corner. His Stalkers are all on the map and Stats is gonna GG. That is a quick 2-0 lead for Creator. Well, it's just a day of slow starts for Stats. Too many small mistakes for Stats, unfortunately. And it's really not the day he wanted to have it. Not in the qualifiers for a $1 million tournament. It's the last chance qualifier, but it would have been such a dream run for him to get there. I mean, it's not over yet, but my gosh, he's got no room for error now. He had a slow start against Shin. Now he's had a slow start against Creator. Creator, on the other hand, is just looking beautiful. Looking so good. Creator's all over it right now. We've got a PBR sponsored in the chat. I forget, your name was based off Pabst Blue Ribbon, right? I randomly watched like 2 minutes of a Moist Critical video of him and his Aussie mates trying American versus Australian beers. And they thought the PBR, they were like, oh, that's a really good beer. What's that? Oh, because it's like a blind taste test or whatever. And the Americans and the Australians are like, yeah, that must be like a pretty nice fancy thing. And they're like, wait, that's PBR? What the fudge? It's so funny because I've still only drunk warm PBR before. Like not warm, but like, you know, maybe room temperature, like not refrigerated. And it was so gross. I was poor at the time, so it still tasted good because, you know, cheap alcohol always tastes good, but not as good as I'm sure it does if it's refrigerated. Now, guys, this is Proxy Stargate against Proxy Stargate. Problem, Stats is going to see his Stargate. Now, if he quickly pulls back and doesn't reveal the probe, that would be amazing. Unless he... No. No! He sees it! He sees it! Okay, and Creator doesn't see him, which is really big, because if Creator sees that probe, he might go look for his proxy. So this is a huge advantage for Stats, guys. This is a really good start for him. What about Brood War? Is that Brood War is also a multitasking game as well. I mean, Brood War also, the amount of just things you need to do is crazy. Is crazy, you know. No auto mining workers when you rally them and stuff, like oof. But definitely it's like it's simpler tasks, but more raw work, I would say, in StarCraft 1. To be fair, but the engagements are good. Engagements are good in StarCraft 1. How many fish fillets did I eat today? I had 2.5 salmon fillets today. PBR, it was great. I only had half one for breakfast. I had a bunch of veggies for breakfast mostly. But then I cooked a bunch of burgers for dinner. I had a couple burgers, man. It's a good time. Stalker's coming in. Battery's gonna have to get cancelled. Okay, so this is huge, guys. Phoenix are gonna shut down the Oracle. This is perfectly handled. Oh, sorry guys, I wanted to show the Oracle dying. The Stalker's got the cancel on the battery, but it just cancels. You're like, oh, I lost a probe and I canceled a battery. Meanwhile, I depower your Stargate, kill your Oracle. I have the Phoenix advantage. My Nexus may be later. I guess that's the one thing for Stats, is the Nexus is later. But he's got the Robo on the way as well. I mean, this is such a good spot, because his Phoenix are going to have a field day. Like, I would go to 4 Phoenix here. I know he stopped at 3. Go 4, man. Dude, the harassment potential of these openings... To be fair, even 3 will pick off probes. For days, mate. For days. Probe number 1. And now you can just hover, because you're not going to have blink forever. So you can literally like fly around the Stalkers in circles if you really want to micro your heart out. He's trying to catch the probe as it pops, but didn't time it quite right. I mean, it's impossible to know as Stats exactly what time that was going to pop. Ooh. Chat says, so slow game. I thought people that enjoy StarCraft will never like AoE 2. This is the craziest thing. Like, this is this thing StarCraft people always say whenever I bring up AoE. They're like, it's so slow. I'm like, well, you clearly don't know how to play the game. Like, if you think Age of Empires is slow, like, you've actually never played it properly. Because you are frantically managing your workers the entire time. There is so much shit to optimize. You're trying to like do so many different, like it is actually an insane amount of multitasking and different things you're focusing on. Like you always wish you could have more attention. I think what people say is like they can't just win the game instantly. I think that's what they're talking about. Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like I get like the pacing isn't as sudden, but like in terms of multitasking and everything to do, it's a way busier game than StarCraft 2. AoE 2, there's a lot more like, oh, I have so many different things I can manage. Like the strategy runs so deep, man. It's awesome. Third Nexus over here. Twilight Council coming in. Forge is making upgrades. I feel like stats should be a little further ahead off this opening, guys. Am I wrong on that? Creator's doing an amazing job of probing up, chronoing. Meanwhile, I mean, stats is ahead, but hits a little supply block on 62. Creator hasn't hit any. Oh, it cleans up the Observer. Good move. That was a really good move. Bring the Observer down. Gets an Observer Snipe. Blink's nowhere near for either side. Oh, if he can get this Observer as well. Dude, if he can snipe the other Observer, that would be huge. Phoenix comes in for Creator. Creator's getting a good scout off. I guess the difference when people say Age of Empires is slow, they're saying that I want to go kill my opponent. I think that's what they're talking about. Isn't this game over? This game's definitely not over. This game's really close. Creator's outplaying stats really hard today. So I really feel like he could definitely get back in this, even though it's been a good start, you know, depowering the Stargate and stuff. Like he's getting outplayed a little bit. I'm back on that point. So yeah, I think people just mean like, I want to go fight my opponent. The thing is, like, I don't know. I feel like when you play AoE, there's so much skirmishes that go on. And that's always what I actually love in real-time strategy games. And it's what I really miss in Legacy of the Void. I think the 12 worker start removes a lot of the small-scale skirmish parts of StarCraft 2, which are some of my favorite parts. And that's one thing which I really do miss. I think that's actually something I really like about Battle Aces, is it does feel like there's quite a gradual move forward of like small to medium skirmishes. I think it could be slowed down even more though, the small scale skirmishes a little bit, because there's not much else going on. It is what it is. But yeah, I think I don't know. I think there's a lot of frantic multitasking. Yeah, you guys should all play AoE too if you haven't. But it does take a special type of enjoyment of game where you really want to perfect macro and build orders, and grinding your optimization of like your build order. To an entirely different degree that I think most StarCraft players don't have that level of attention. Same thing I hate about boxing, I hate about AoE 2. Going to the scorecards. AoE 2 doesn't go to the scorecards. AoE 2 even has high-ranking cheeses? Absolutely. Yeah. But there have been games decided by score in Age of Empires. I've only been watching the last few years, so I've never seen that. Ooh, gets a High Templar. Feedbacks are good, but the Phoenix survive, man. Stats is just chipping away at him. Look at the units lost. I mean, the units lost is so clean. If Creator brings this game back, I'm going to be so impressed. So impressed, man. 10 gate? Yeah. Stargate over there as well. Phoenix is going to come in. We've got 2 cannons building. All right. I don't know, man. Can you defend this attack and keep the 4th Nexus alive? Because if you lose the 4th Nexus, Stats is pretty far ahead. If you keep this alive, though, and you got Archon, I think another battery down here and another pylon here would be massive. This cannon's going to go down so quickly. Nice move. The Immortals for Stats are big. Oh, the battery's very exposed. The battery's going to go down. Oh, this is so bad. The battery did take a little while to get focused, but dude, I mean, Creator's microing well, but his probes are dying in the worker line. I think this is the perfect timing for Stats. That being said, nice pullback for Creator. He's microing with the Prism. The Phoenix is going to kill the Prism, though. Once the Prism's gone, he doesn't have any Archons left yet. The 4th base goes down. Stats had the perfect start. That probe pathing, that was so lucky because he saw the Stargate and didn't give away his own proxy at the same time. That was beautiful. All right, guys. Stats in the top left, starting the comeback, but everything went right for him in that last early game. And even then, it's not like it was like an overwhelming victory. So I still think Creator's looking as the favorite. I don't feel a huge momentum swing after that last game. That being said, Creator can be a little fragile mentally sometimes. So we'll see what happens. It's funny, saying 230 hours isn't a lot. Because, like, for any hardcore gamer, you know that that's nothing, right? Like, you have so little knowledge of a game with 230 hours. There are so many situations you don't truly understand, right? There's so many things you just don't recognize, you've never done before, you've never been there. Everyone knows to be like pretty deep knowledge of a game, you need at least 1,000 hours, usually. And even then, there's usually much more to learn, eh? I think I learn games a lot faster than I did back in 2010 when I started playing StarCraft, though. There is an advantage. Pylon block gets cancelled over there. Creator's looking for the expansion after Stargate. That's 2 gate into Stargate off 2 Stalkers. Meanwhile, we've got a 4 Stalker opening. Stats could do a very aggressive build off this. Does he keep building gateway units? He's going to go 4 Stalkers into 2 Sentries. I don't think the Nexus being a little later matters, as long as you keep building probes. He needs to build a Pylon right now. Pylon? Yeah, because I'm like, if you get your Nexus delayed, making sure you don't forget this Pylon is actually vital, because you're building so many more constant gateway units and probe production. So very good attention to detail for Stats. He's waiting down here. He's hoping these guys poke out and he can get the ambush on them. Because if Creator clicks out, he's not expecting you to be waiting here. So he might like click his Stalkers out and then he looks back at his base and then bam, he's already taken the first volley before he reacts. Second volley before he can pull out of range, already loses a Stalker. Good, careful play for Creator. He's got an Oracle out, second one on the way. Twilight Council is coming in now for Stats. Sentries and Stalkers will kill the probe. Is Age of Empires 2 an EWC? No, unfortunately. I wish it was. It's technically true, but I think there are actually 0 games that went to score, says Sean. Okay, that's good. The great thing, I always say the great thing about a best of 7 finals or best of 9 Age of Empires finals is that's all you schedule for the final day of a tournament. It could be a 5-0 and it'll still take 4.5 hours. I also like the drafting stage is quite nice as well. I think the draft is a good flow. 2 probes do go down. What can I say, guys? I have my things I get nerdily obsessed with, and I'll talk your ears off about them, and then a month later it'll be something else. It's like, why isn't Pig talking about running anymore? I don't know, guys. It's cold. I've just been jogging. I've still got a month and a half. All right, month and a half. 1, 2 and a bit months to prepare for my marathon. I got plenty of time. I don't need to go put practice in. That's why I haven't been talking to you guys about running at all, because I'm just like, yeah, not as focused on it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I didn't know if he was going to commit to that. There's a lot of Stalkers ready. I think 4 probes is worth it, though. Because I don't think the Adepts are going to get that much value, but oh, losing the Oracles would be bad. Oracles came in at the same time. It's a total of 7 probes, but you've also lost some probes. You've lost a Pylon. You've lost 2 Adepts. I'd say Stats is holding on pretty well. He's down in workers, but he's got a bigger army out right now. The Oracles are heavily damaged, and taking a 3rd base earlier than his opponent is always good. Honestly, how much earlier is it? 2 seconds, not a big deal. But hey, it's an advantage. Infrastructure-wise, there is an earlier 3rd gate for Creator. That's his advantage as a Forge goes down. So Stats is playing very normie, kind of building to the longer stage. Creator, hello, are we going 4th gateway proxy? I think we are. I don't think he's early enough to do damage, though, because there's going to be a battery ready for Stats. I don't know if I like this. Creator's skipping Forge, skipping Robo. He's going to put on Blink Aggression. We'll see what he can find. But I always feel like once the battery's finished on the... Double Forge on Ghost River Stats when you're down 2-1. This is greedy. I mean, it could pay off big time. He's going Double Forge and a Okay, so this is the problem. Stats is investing so much in future upgrades and tech. He's going Double Forge, Robos. This means he needs more gases, all this stuff. Meanwhile, Creator's like, I'm doing a 2-gas Zealot Stalker all in. He's like, I'm going to build a gateway there. I'm going to build like 4 more gateways at home. And I'm just going to kill you with Zealot Stalker. Like what of it, dude? I'm not going to screw around, man. I ain't going to screw around. Extra gateway goes down. Sees, oh, start seeing those gateways. This is big. Stats is making 1-1 upgrades. They're not going to be ready in time. I don't think they might be, actually. This is just Stalker harassment at first. If he can get 1-1 finished, this could be very good for him. Blink's done for both sides. Identical Stalker counts, but with that forward gateway, we will see more units warp in. He's going to start warping in Zealots. Now, he's only going at 5 gates, is Creator. Creator needs 2-3 more gateways and a few pylons to really commit and dig into this aggression. And since he's only on 2 gas with no 4th Nexus, he has to do it that way. Oh, Stats there. Dodge that projectile. Both sides really good at dodging each other's projectiles. Oracles come in. One of them does die. The other one very damaged, but 3 probes do go down. Now, you can see here lots of gateways going down, guys. So we've got 4 gateways with 3 more building, 2 transforming. So it's going to be 9 gateway total for Mr. Creator. Runs in, gets a Stalker, almost gets a Sentry as well. He's got his first... Oh, no, there we go. He just got his first Stalker kill. Killed a Sentry and a Stalker. Nicely done. He also wasted the Guardian Shield. Mass Zealots coming in earlier for him. 1-1 upgrades aren't quite there. These Stalkers. 6 Stalkers in the back for 1 Oracle. He needs them on the front right now. Dude, that's way too many. You killed one of the Oracles, and he's building cannons at home. This is bad for stats. He's wasting money. Templar Archive, Stalkers in the back, cannons. He needs it on the front. He doesn't realize these Zealots are going to kill the battery, and once the battery's gone, he doesn't have a proper defender's advantage. I think he dies to this timing. His 4 gateways are a little behind. Here come the Zealots. Beautiful surprise maneuver. Creator digging in his heels and saying, 100% I will kill you right here, right now. Ramming into stats. No battery overcharge. The probes get pulled off the line. He knows it's now or never. The Stalkers blink forward, take out the Immortal. The Zealots are doing massive damage. Every probe has gone down. Nice pullbacks for stats behind the mineral line. He's trying to warp in Zealots to hold the choke point. Nice move there, but it feels like he is so brutally outnumbered, and double Forge and Immortal production, especially after scouting all these gateways, not bringing the Stalkers to the front. I gotta say, guys, I think Creator's timing, it's a good idea to just commit to stuff, be aggressive in these tournament situations, but I've also got to be critical of stats. Do we need to play double Forge Robo #1? Is it that just too greedy a base style? I would say perhaps. But especially if you are going to play it and you see Mass Gateway, pull all your Stalkers to the front. Leave a single Stalker or 2 defending, especially if you're building cannons. And build an extra battery and you know, scout around a little more, because he should have been much more aware of what was going on. He's very outnumbered. The Archon is very good against the Zealots, but the Stalkers blink on it. They take it out. Can they get rid of the Immortal? They can. Zealots warping in defensively. You don't want to lose your Stalkers as Creator. The supply is still very close. Stats is a king of defense right now. Oracle comes back in. Cannons do scare it off, though, temporarily. I feel like he could still hold position over there and potentially hit some of those gas probes. Army supply is actually up the stats right now, and he's got 1-1. I think he's held. This was unnecessarily knife's edge for stats, and I think that's his big weakness as a player, is putting himself in positions where he has to defend so knife's edge. It's very dangerous, you know. He's been so close to dying. Yo, don't get surrounded, though. Careful, mate. Careful, mate. Probe's going to be moving out. No 4th. If he had a 4th Nexus, I'd believe in Creator's transition chances, but right now, it's Mass Zealot into Archons. No extra batteries is a problem. But I think 1-1 upgrades plus 2's now started. Yeah, I think Stats has got this now. Especially if he can afford another Archon, right? If he could just get that 300 gas to make 1 more Archon. Oracle goes down. Stalkers take out a Stalker of Creators as well. Another Stalker goes down. He doesn't even lose 1 in return. He gets 3 Stalkers without even losing 1. Well, that looks like it's probably game. Stats is taking a 4th right now against a guy's 3 base all in. He sees the Mass Zealot all in. Second Archon is now morphing. Remember, I was saying, guys, if he gets that second Archon up, that's going to be a game changer. He's down here. His Stalkers are going to go out front. It's 26 Zealots for stats, 31 for Creator, but the 1-1 upgrades are going to be a massive difference maker. Especially in Zealot versus Zealot, being up 2 upgrades is crazy. Yep, 3 upgrades in about 45 seconds when his +2 finishes. Stalkers fighting very well for stats. He is outnumbered on the Stalker count as his Zealot Archon does run forward. Good angling for Creator, but he doesn't have the Archons, man. Those Archons, big splash damage from the boys. Stalkers in the back of stats, not landing as many hits as they could, but I think the Zealot Archon is crushing this fight. Another Archon comes in on the left. You can see it and the Stalkers should win out that fight at the top left. They barely do. Battery comes up and starts healing mid-fight, and those Archons just did so much damage to stats. Dude, is he actually getting back in this? That is crazy. Guys, double Stalker on the way up against the 1-gate expand of Creator. In Game 5, Creator's risking it all on a 1-gate expand, and he's going to go, wait, the Stalker's got cancelled and he builds Adepts. Stats, unable to make up his mind. Dude, you got to be clutch in game 5. You can't just be making up, you know, making Stalkers, cancelling them, making Adepts. Not a big fan of how Stats has opened up, guys. I almost wouldn't have minded him cancelling an Adept there and throwing a Nexus down, but double Adept, not my favorite here. We'll see how we go. Pylon block for Creator as well. I mean, the problem with the Pylon block, I would say... Okay, he sees the shade. He's going to go off to the other side. He says, if you want to delay harassing, I will keep this probe. You know, then you can get the probe. But if not, you're screwed. Forward pylon there. I guess the Adepts makes you think it's harassment more, but seeing no Nexus, Creator should be pretty certain that he's getting all in. Guys, he still hasn't made a tech structure. He's just making 3 sentries and a battery and nothing else. There's a proxy robo and a 3rd gate coming up. Adept Shade poking forward. I don't know, man. That's such a late second gate. Can Creator really defend this? Stalker's coming in. I mean, this probe comes back from an obvious proxy location. Stats. Don't give away your strategy, mate. I'm pretty sure. I mean, at this point, it's blatant, guys. At this point, it's blatant. There's no tech in the base. There is no Nexus. It has to be that. One probe goes down. Sentries do good damage now, though. Remember, they have that bonus to shield, so they actually kill these Adepts very quickly. What's Pig's problem with Gabe? Do they have beef? No, we have pork. Hey! Twitch guy, thanks for the sub as well. Big thank you, Matto Max, the $5 tip. Really appreciate the generosity there. All right, guys. Sentries are there. We've got the second gate coming up. Second gate and a robot. Robo-Bay! What stats is going to do the one-base Colossus? Or Disruptors is what I would normally think. It could be Colossus, though, to crush the Force Field. I think it's Colossus. I think he's going to go Colossus to crush Force Field. Did Creator just see it? Creator just sees it. He knows. Creator's got 3 batteries. Cancels that battery there. So he needs to go, I guess, just Immortals. But Colossus can kind of get out of control over time. Ooh, Prism Adept drop in the main. Sorry, guys. Didn't catch that at first. 4 probes. 5 and saves both Adepts. That's massive. Creator taking big losses. I mean, he's up on income, but he's actually got to move out and fight. Mass Battery is good, but is it going to deal with an early... It's actually Disruptors. Okay, he does go Disruptor to start. Disruptors can be massive. Obviously, they can shoot through and do huge damage. Ooh, here we go. Immortal coming in. Adepts and Stalkers coming in as well. The Immortal defensively there for Creator is good, but if he doesn't have a Prism, he's got to be really careful because the Disruptor shot can just be game-ending, man. The first Disruptor shot can do so much damage. At the same time, income differential is huge. Look how much more money Creator's making right now. Just put stats on a timer. The longer he doesn't get damage, the more trouble he's in. Creator. Oh my god, here comes the ball from the Fog of War. Oh, good spread. He loses 1 Sentry, 1 Adept. That could have been much worse. 1 Sentry, 1 Adept sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Oh, the drop comes back in the main. Creator's in trouble. Creator's taken a lot of damage. Stats, dude. Stats trying to counter the 1-gate expand here with some highly aggressive and unorthodox play. This is so cool to see. Now, neither side has an Observer right now. I think an Observer will be big. I think he's going to try and drop Adepts to distract and then throw the Disruptor at the front. Oh, Disruptor's a little far forward. Does get... Oh, he gets a hit on both Immortals. But one of them had the barrier, I think, already activated, so it does not take damage beyond that. One of the Immortals is down to half-life, 100 versus 200 that it could be at. Second Disruptor's here. I think you want to shoot at the Sentries, honestly. And he just gets 1. I mean, you're picking up value, even though you're mining less. Over time, if you keep getting shots like this is good. The problem is, how do you ever break the batteries? I feel like batteries are so good here. And look at this, the Immortals going out in front. That's a lot of Adepts for stats. They're going to tank damage like crazy. There's 3 Disruptors in here. Force Fields are very scary as well. Moving in, though. Moving in. Disruptor shot goes forward. Great Disruptor shot. Some of the units get saved by the Prism, but another Disruptor shot goes forward. Gets itself a Stalker. Good hot pickups by Creator. He's limiting the damage. Is it enough, though? He's only up 5 probes right now, and obviously the Disruptors are stacking up value. You can only fit so many units in the Prism. Creator frantically trying to micro his way out of this. Dude, is stats about to eliminate Creator from this last chance attempt to qualify for the $1 million World Championship of 2024. It's going to wrap up the 2023-2024 season. It's such a big event. Creator is fighting for his life right now, and I cannot believe stats. This Shield of Aya, the very defensive player, known for being almost too defensive, is doing a 1-base all-in, and it's working right now. Battery goes down. One of the Disruptors has fallen. Uh-oh, these Disruptors are getting low. That Immortal's doing huge damage. That Immortal actually is doing massive damage. The Immortal, though, if Stats Immortal can focus Creator's Immortal, it can kill it. That Immortal gets picked up. It does get saved. Disruptor in the open. Disruptor goes down. Another Disruptor pulling back there. More Adepts coming in. He's done enough. He's done enough. He's broken him. He's broken him right now, ladies and gentlemen. There's only 2 Immortals in a Prism. The batteries are gone. The probes are gone. The Stalker count, the Immortal count, the Adepts. Stats has actually done it with a 1-base proxy Robo. Oh, no. Creator, such a good start to the series. And then everything went wrong on Golden Aura. And since then... Dude, Stats gets away with the greedy double Forge hold on Ghost River. Barely hangs on. I mean, honestly, the fact that Stats didn't outright die on Ghost River is incredible. And this game here on top, a Disruptor build, so rare you see this at the highest level these days. Creator probably needed to go across with a Prism earlier to counterattack. and just buy more time and try to zone him out with force fields. But the Prism Adept Harass is really what opened up the mistakes. I feel like that caused Creator to make so many errors, constantly having to deal with that. And, Stalker's getting taken down by the Immortal. One Stalker does go down. He's going to try and shade up here. There's no force fields left. He could just shove it. Battery takes damage. Adepts go in, dropping the Immortals on top. They take out the Battery. The units do move up the ramp. They take out the enemy Immortals. And with no Immortals left, there's nothing to do. Yeah, your 2 Immortal drop goes in. You kill the probes. You're going to try and force a base trade. I mean, how many tragic base trades has Creator been in his career? So many. He's good at forcing base trades in a desperate spot. Is it going to win you the game, though? Absolutely not, because look at the army size, 45 to 14. And there's a proxy on the other side of the map as well. Not to mention, Stats has the money to rebuild a Nexus, cancel it, and build another Nexus. Actually, no, he doesn't. Sorry, he's 10 minerals short of that, actually. If he cancelled his Observer, he would have had enough. But he builds the Observer just in case there's DTs. Starts preparing for every possible outcome, and Creator is honestly, he's going to be very upset. We know how Creator will react to this. Keyboards will be broken. And he says, GG, 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 GG. Good game. Starts with an amazing reversal from down 0 to GG. Well played.